Behind her veil, she was merely the High Lady Tuan, of no higher rank than many others of the blood, but in her heart, always, she was Tuan Atheum Cor Pendrag, daughter of the 9 moons, and she had come to reclaim what had been stolen from her ancestor.
What? Bum, 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 bum. Nerdy Nightly logo.
Oh, do we not
We don't
have
have
that?
we don't have the theme.
Oh, okay. I was like, are you going to do the start? You're like, ba, ba.
Don't
And I was like,
DMCA.
and I was like, oh, okay.
Welcome to a road show. Welcome
A
to
road show.
the Nerdy Wordy Book Club live from not so sunny Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, it's literally foggy right now.
It's raining.
Yeah. Every time we're here, we bring rain with us.
Yeah, it's because we don't come in the middle of summer when it's hot.
You know what we should do? We should come to LA more often so that we cure the drought.
We are the bowl of winds.
Yes, that's how that works.
Good morning. Tom Maines, thank you for 5 gifted memberships before we've even said our names. What is this?
Ooh, thank you so
can you
much.
not break this
trying to
table, please?
It's marble. I don't think I can break it.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the
Thank
Nerdy,
you,
the Wordy, the Book Club.
Let's go.
My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is Winter's Heart chapters 7 through 14. Boy, howdy, do we have a little bit of,
few things to talk about.
yeah, we have some housekeeping. Sex Monkey, thank you for being a narg for 9 dang months.
Welcome back to the Nerd Table.
Blue, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you, Blue guy. Oh,
Blue, thank you for 20 gifted memberships. Gosh darn it. Wheel Up Time, a member for 2 months. Black and White, Aes Sedai symbol reference. Absolutely. You know us.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That's what we were going for.
Erase the gray. Good morning, everybody.
Oh my God, Blue.
So,
thank you so much.
we have to start this episode off with an apology.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
We do.
I forgot.
So, the plan for the Winter's Heart audiobook reaction was that we were going to do chapter 12. We were going to listen to the audiobook, and we were going to react to it. And then we got on a flight on Tuesday morning, and I opened the book, and I just started reading. And it was not a great flight. I was very uncomfortable. There was a man behind me who was an absolute nightmare.
Oh my God.
He kept kicking my seat, and the Wheel of Time was getting me through the flight. And so the title card for chapter 12 came up, and I just kept reading. And then about an hour and a half later, I looked over at Clarus, who was also reading, and I saw that she was in the middle of chapter 12. And in that moment, it dawned on me, and I turned to her and I went, which is not a good thing to do on planes. People freak out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And she was like, what? And I was like, we were supposed to audiobook react to this chapter that you are 75% of the way through.
Yeah.
So we messed that up.
Yeah.
We messed that up.
A little bit.
Oh, y'all, it might be a little bit quieter than usual. We are, our Rode mic doesn't quite do the job.
It's not very loud.
Yeah, we need to figure that out.
Yeah. So, sorry about that.
So, yeah, we messed up. We're going to do a different chapter, and y'all are going to pick that in the Discord at another time, and you'll let us know what chapter we're reacting to. We have 2 weeks until we're coming back to Winter's Heart.
Yes.
Because next Friday will be the full book recap for Path of Daggers?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. What a place to leave off.
Yeah, what a place. What, y'all are mean.
Yeah. I've never done that before, where I just, keep, well, that's not true. When I was in high school, I used to just, read like nobody's business. But for this book, I've been, trying to be, super mindful of, where I am and what's happening. And we missed it.
Yeah, just missed it.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry about that.
It was too good. I don't know what to tell you. It's too good.
Before we get too much further into this podcast, I believe now is a very good time to tell you that this podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible is a subscription service that is worried about the drought in California and the fact that there will not be any trees here to turn into books. And so, they have taken the written word and forced it into the eyeballs of famous people and not so famous people, and had them read said books into a microphone, at which point it is turned into a digital signal that is turned into ones and zeros, which can be teleported via Wi-Fi, Ethernet, or other internet devices into your phone, tablet, speaker system, TV. I don't know how you listen to audiobooks. Anything with a speaker on it. which at that point is turned back into a rhythmic thumping that your brain interprets as sounds, which it sends as an electrical signal to your brain, which bounces between neurons, turning into the things that you hear. And if that isn't horrifying to you, go to audibletrial.com/nerdynightly to get a free book and a free month prescription.
Prescription.
I'm prescribing Audible to all of you.
Yes, may it cure your seasonal depression.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor. In the same way Dr. Oz is a doctor.
I think he's actually a doctor.
I know.
I think he we can't lie.
I know. It's fine. Just don't mind me throwing shade. That was well done. Great ad spot. I'm sure Audible's gonna hear that and be like, "Oh wow, we should use it."
Hey, Audible has not walked away from us yet.
That's true. If they haven't walked away from us yet,
At this point. Yeah.
then I don't know what to tell
I don't know
you.
what they would complain about. Like, our ad spots are weird, but they're memorable.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that the whole goal of marketing?
Yeah.
Remember when Burger King said women belong in the kitchen?
Yeah.
Everyone remembers it. I don't know that people go to Burger King, but like everyone remembers that marketing trick.
Yeah. I guess that is what makes ads work, is if you remember them.
It's if they're memorable. I feel like that is what we've accomplished.
Y'all
here.
are never gonna forget Audible ever because of us. You're welcome.
Brooke says it might be the best plug for Audible they've ever heard. So I'm just saying, Audible.
There you go.
Get in touch.
Yeah.
More than you already do when you send me money. Burnt Ashaman wants to know, how does vision work? So basically, this is wild.
All right. No.
So, your eyes are a mirror that are also a lens. Okay? Hear me out. Light bounces in reverse, hits the lens of your eye and gets fixed, which your eyeball then reads backwards.
Yeah.
So that when the electrical signal hits your brain, it's forwards.
Because your brain knows how to interpret it.
Yeah.
So our brains are really smart.
How crazy! So when you are seeing something backwards, you're actually seeing it forwards, but your brain is interpreting it as backwards.
I hate that.
You actually read backwards. You just don't know it.
Wow. Thanks. I hate it here. We have a book to talk about, and we have many things
This is okay.
to talk about.
The last 2
boy.
weeks of the reading have been commented on as not the best book clubs because I've been negative.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to, guys, I promise you, no negativity. This is a no negative book club. This was the best reading we've had in weeks.
Yeah.
This was good shit all the way through. There was reveals, there were characters communicating.
There was intrigue.
Lan Mandragoran taught all of the characters of the Wheel of Time a lesson in ethics and how to be a fucking good person.
That's why he's our favorite. I knew we liked him for some reason.
God for Lan Mandragoran.
Seriously.
This week was rad.
Yeah.
Characters actually did things together in ways that were interesting. And I was like, we're back. Guys,
yeah.
We are back.
Bum, ba, dum, ba, 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 ba.
that didn't work.
Sorry, you can't do the... Okay, it's fine.
We are back isn't we are farmer. There's 4. You took 3, made it 4.
Yeah, but it just reminded me of it. So I'm a
Claris
theater
has
kid.
2 jokes.
It comes
She's
out of my
got
mouth.
2 jokes and she does them even if they don't work.
What's my other joke?
In this economy...
No, I know that joke. What's my other joke?
Bum.
I never use that.
You do it more than you think.
No.
Yeah,
do
you
it
do.
once in a while as a treat to break things up, But yes, I do have one joke.
It's okay to be negative from time to time. Yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah, it's more that we are relieved that we enjoyed this section so much.
Trintron says, what week will there be another break for the book club? So this week there's kind of a break because we're doing a pre-recorded full book recap next Friday for the last book.
Yes.
So as long as you've read Path of Daggers, next Friday's episode, you don't have to read anything new for.
Yeah.
And then we'll be coming back with the next section of Winter's Heart in 2 weeks from today.
Yes. Because we're still doing book club while we're in Calgary. Right now, there was somebody who was asking. Right now, we're in Los Angeles for LA Comic-Con, which is this weekend. And then we're going to be back for a week, and we will be then heading to Calgary for the holidays, but we're still going to do book club over the holidays. So that schedule will all come out.
Yeah.
And we're hoping to line it up so that we start the new book in the new year.
VSM says, will you watch more Indian movies like your reaction for RRR? Thank you so much. To everyone who's watched our RRR reaction, that's like closing in on 100,000 views, which is nuts.
Crazy.
We are going to be watching more Indian movies in 2023. We don't really have time for that in December, unfortunately, because of our travels.
We're gone for the whole month, so we're not adding anything else.
I think we're going to do Bahubali in January.
Yes, a lot of people have asked for that.
And then I don't know, we might do like an Indian movie a month. That might become a thing.
Yeah.
Just because there's so much great Bollywood and Tollywood and Collywood cinema, and I want to see it.
Yeah.
Shall we get into this? Clarus, chapters 7 through 14. Before we dive chapter by chapter, what are your main thoughts about the section?
I feel like we kind of already said that, like, this section, we both just kept plowing through it and forgot about the reaction. So it was what I've been wanting more of from these things.
Yeah.
From the sections. And it had a little bit of everything, like you said. There was like moral stuff, there was political intrigue, there was some action, there was just a plethora of like. There was something for everybody in this section, which I think is why I liked it so much.
Yeah.
And we got some cool reveals as well to talk about. Interesting.
We got a reveal, guys. We already read the reveal.
We did,
but we'll get to it at the end.
The very beginning.
All right, let's start. I liked it a lot. This was great. I didn't share my feelings. I'm very happy, you guys. This was good reading.
Yes. This was some good stuff.
Winter's Heart, Chapter 7, The Streets of Camelin. On the streets of Camelin!
It works.
Elaine is out and about, as we say in Canada.
Out and about.
Out and about. Mm-hmm. And she's just kind of riding through town, trying to convince people that she should be queen by being there.
Being there. Which, like, it makes sense. They should, like, she's like, I have to show people that, like, I'm here and, like, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I don't know.
Is this the musical book club?
The musical book club. And she's got a little bit of support. Mm-hmm. You know, there's some people who are like, yeah, Trickend, let's go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She's like, okay, you know, at least I'm not being, like, booed off of the streets. This is a good sign. But the support doesn't seem particularly enthusiastic in the way that she wants it to be.
Yeah. And she's riding around with her crew, which has some Aes Sedai in it, but also has a bunch of female hunters for the horn, which I remarked to you when we were first reading this, where I turned to you and I was like, wasn't it like remarked upon in earlier books? And I think Chat can help us with this because I couldn't find it. But I felt like when we met Fail, it was remarked upon that it was like rare to meet female hunters for the horn.
Yeah, they're much rarer.
And I think that Chat can help here because it seems like Elaine has found all of them. Elaine is like, oh yeah, all of these female hunters for the horn I found. And yeah. I don't know, it kind of stood out to me a little bit in that I thought that there were fewer women who did this. Mm-hmm. And it seemed strange that Elaine had so many in one place at one time, kind of by happenstance. But I like the idea that Robert Jordan sets up here that, like, Elaine doesn't want to have a bodyguard, but she also, like, kind of fully has a bodyguard right now.
I know.
But it's like,
But, like, not with her all the time. Like, when she's in the castle, right, she's like, I don't need anybody to look after me. Yeah, and I'm like, on one hand, I get it. You want your privacy. Yeah. On the other hand, I'm like, girl, you're in the middle of like, not like a coup, but like in like a political battle for the throne of Andor. Mm-hmm. You know, you're not gonna get out of that unscathed, right?
Yeah, it does. She doesn't. It does seem foolish in a way. Like I don't.
It's optimistic.
It is optimistic.
Yes.
Especially considering that we know that people can teleport.
Yeah.
And, like, people that they don't like can teleport. And Megideon is after them?
Yeah.
Like, ostensibly, they know Megideon... Like, because one of the weird things is that I feel like they've forgotten that Megideon tried to kill Nynaeve in Abu Dar. And so they're kind of behaving as if they're, like, untouchable because they're in Andor. And I'm like, Elaine, like... Megideon is still after you. And so I think that was where I was kind of like, girl, like, why don't you want a bodyguard? Your life has been in danger a lot lately.
Yeah, I guess she thinks that herself and Nynaeve and Aviendha are strong enough to kind of take care of anything, as opposed, and in addition to that, they have all the kin and all the Aes Sedai there to back them up. So it would be kind of bonkers for Gideon to pop in and try and like kill her or take her, especially if she didn't have a good idea of like where Elaine was at all moments. Which
it would be bonkers if she was going around with people around her. But if she's going to go around with nobody around her, it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Especially since she knows that there are Aes Sedai whose motives she's not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know
that there's a spy, obviously. And we know that there's a whole thing about who killed Adelius. I don't know how to say her name.
Yeah.
It confuses me every time I read it.
It was interesting to me that she was so like she was pushing back on this bodyguard idea when I felt like that would be something that being raised a royal, you would be more accustomed to the concept of.
Oh, and there's also the golem. Dog Brother's right.
The golem. Well, what is a bodyguard going to do against the golem? But
true. Alert other people, maybe. It's
give her time to run.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, well, I don't know how much use they would be, especially if they're just hunters of the horn. But it's better than nothing, right?
The whole time reading this, she's like, I don't want a bodyguard, and I was like, girl. We have read 3 straight books of you being on the run from people trying to kill you. Yeah. And you know that other Andorans are going to try and kidnap you and keep you in their basement until their daughter can be queen. Well, take the fucking bodyguard.
Well, and also there's I think that this is meant to be like, hey guys, Elaine is still a little naive. She's 18, right? Like, you know, she's young and she's optimistic, and this was her home, and she doesn't want it to be a dark place that she has to have an escort at all times.
Yeah.
Methany, thank you.
Methany, thank you so much for that super chat.
Super chat. Yeah. She said.
Don't worry, Elaine can get away with it because she's careful.
Uh-huh.
She's careful.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't like a negative thing. I just found it very funny to read, where I was like, Elaine, if you want to be queen, you're going to be surrounded by people all the time. Like, you need to kind of get used to it now.
Yeah, but I understand why it's there, and you know, she rescinds, right?
Mm-hmm.
She learns her lesson the hard way, and she rescinds, and unfortunately, she picks the wrong person for the job.
We also learn that jumping ahead, Jesus.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We also learned that Elaine is super pro immigration, which is cool.
Yeah.
Lots of different people from around the world have moved in, and thus Caemlyn is going to be okay because they're going to have a lot of industries.
Yeah.
Including they have alum, which I think is aluminum.
Is my guess.
Sorry, it's aluminium. They found aluminium. That top tier shit. And Elaine is like, fuck yes, I can finally bankrupt Gildan by undercutting their entire trade.
I mean, I don't think she's thinking about bankrupting the other country. I just think she's excited about how well Andor is going to do.
Elaine is cutthroat. She's a business lady. She's going to bankrupt Gildan. She's ready to wipe those Gildanians off the map financially.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm predicting it now.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Someone write that down.
Gildan and Andor are going to war over
alum. Oh, my God. And I love that it's just, like, in one of her, like, estates in the mountains somewhere, and it's like, oh, it's going to... Don't worry about that. We will deal with that, like, 3 books from now, because it's going to take time to excavate and
I don't even think...
refine and...
I don't think they're going to have it mined by the time the series ends.
Oh, okay.
Ian says it's salt.
Why would it be salt? Why don't they just call it salt?
But they have salt.
Yeah.
I don't think it's salt. I think that would be weird. Unless this alum is a word for salt that I don't know.
Because I'm pretty sure they have mentioned salt as salt.
Turvok says alum is a powder used in different types of manufacturing, not aluminium.
Aluminum.
It's potassium chloride. Oh.
Huh.
You have gone beyond my understanding of what you just said. So sure. Sure.
Whatever you say, I believe you.
So while she's going through all this, while she's meeting people, she has the feeling in the back of her brain, this nagging feeling that Brigitte is running at her at full speed. And so she's like, all right, we got to head back. We got to meet up with Brigitte. We got to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so Brigitte reveals that the secret plan to get Nain and Alenia somewhere. I didn't really know what they were doing with these 2 girls. This whole, like, we kidnap little, like, teenage girls and, like, keep them captive straight up messed up.
Yeah, the like competition for the throne or whatever. Yeah.
Because like becoming queen of Andor is just who's better at kidnapping, which is a weird way to choose your queen, but sure.
Or a killing, right? Like some of them die.
I guess, but like.
And Andor doesn't participate in Deus Damar.
Yeah. The Andorans are like, God, those Kyrianan are so weird with their backstabby ways. Meanwhile, they're like, oh no, it's fine if young girls kidnap each other. Yeah. That's totally,
Yeah, it's fine.
That's just the way things are done. Because I keep thinking like, oh, Andor's kind of the like one culture that isn't like rooted in violence in some way, and then they're like kidnapping each other and keeping each other captive to be queen, and I'm like, well, okay, maybe not fully and not rooted in violence.
Yeah, I mean, you're never gonna get away from that in a world that's so god awful to live in, but yeah, it's just some light kidnapping, you know.
And so we find out that Elaine, I keep wanting to say Egwene. Elaine's men who were escorting them for reasons were killed and they're gone. Yeah. And so one of the people there is like, I don't understand why. Like, what's going on? And then Brigitta's like, well, what are their names? If it was Alenia's people, then Nain is going to be forced to swear to Alenia.
No, Elaine says that.
And if it's Nain, no, someone else says it.
Well, I know,
and then Elaine goes, my mother would have expected me to know that when I was 10.
Oh, I thought that's why she thought that, because she said it. Oh, yeah. It's very simple, Sarithia. If Jared Saren took them, Elenia will give Nain a choice, declare for blah, 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 blah. But if Nain's people have them... No.
Oh, never mind.
No, because then Sarithia's like, oh, that's nicely reasoned out. And Elaine's like, I'm sure you could have come out there eventually. I was like, all right.
And so
nice of you, I guess.
In the wake of this reveal, they go back to the palace to try and figure out what to do next. At which point we learn a lot about what's going on at the palace, and there's some weird shit going on at the palace.
Yeah.
They run into some. This is the next chapter. Actually, we should move on to the next chapter. They get to the palace. They're there.
Yes.
Chapter 1 done. Let's go. Winter's Heart, Chapter 8, Sea Folk and Kin. All right. So this is where things get very interesting, and this is like some of my best moments of the Wheel of Time so far, because we find out, because Elaine's like walking around the palace, and she sees some kin women, and they're leading another like channeling girl, but this one's got an Adam on, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, you're like, excuse me?
I'm sorry. Is Elaine, because my first thought was, is Elaine making Adams?
That's what I thought too, yeah.
To keep women captive.
Yeah. No, which is not the case.
Well, no, it isn't. Yeah. But they don't answer right away. Like she like sees that in the hallway and then like goes into her room for like a tea and like her lunch, and you're like, wait, well, we're not okay. I guess we'll learn about that later. And for a moment, I was like, if we don't learn about that in this entire section, I will lose my mind. If that is a dangling thread, it's answered in the appropriate amount of time. Well done, Robert Jordan.
Yes, thank you for that one, Robert Jordan. We appreciate it.
But Elaine learns that she has to talk to Haldwyn Nori, the head clerk, about some money stuff. And she also learns that a bunch of merchants want to see her because they want to make money. That's what merchants do. And yeah. She sits down and everyone's surprised that she's back early. Yeah. So everyone knows that something's up, but nobody knows what.
Yeah, everyone's a little bit sus because they were like, oh, Elaine was supposed to be gone for another like hour or so. So there's something funky going on here.
And so then we go on Elaine's chore hour where she has to go deal with a bunch of different people, starting with Van Deen, who's with Zaria and Christian. I feel like I'm just saying people's names.
Yeah, the Wheel of Time is just a long, comprehensive list of names.
Yeah. So Van Deen is like, hey, these two figured out that my sister Adelius was murdered by one of 3 people.
Yes.
Because they stuck their noses where they shouldn't be because they were thinking. Because thinking is bad.
Yes, they should not have any time to think because they should be so busy.
If you are part of a structure of people that tells you that thinking is bad, you're in a bad structure of people.
Yeah, I'm gonna say maybe don't be there. Yeah. But hey, they want to be Aes Sedai, so who am I to say?
Good organizations encourage thought.
Yeah.
Individual thought. Creative thought.
And it's weird because she gives a compliment, but is also a dick about it. And they're like happy. So it's like one of those things where I'm like, oh god, this seems like a horrible situation. But but they say it's either Saritha, Marilyn, or
Kyrian. Carrie-Anne?
Carrie-Anne.
Carry on my wayward son.
It can't be Kyrian.
There'll be peace when you are done.
Yeah.
And so the Vandine is like, well, someone's going to have to take these two because they were kinswomen who were. I really like the touch of like these daughters and like the girls. She's like struggling to call them daughters because one of them is like 600 years old.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow.
These youngins in there.
Which we'll get into with the Sanchin in a minute.
Yeah.
Aes Sedai keep fucking getting older.
Yeah.
Like, they keep getting older to the point where it doesn't, like...
But here's the thing. I'm still confused about the ageless face thing or the, like, non-aging...
It's the Oath Rod.
I know it is the Oath Rod, but,
well,
like...
we don't know, but, like, we're like, 99% sure it's the
Well, because they say that the Oath Rod cuts your time alive in, like,
that's what they
half?
think.
Yeah, I don't know.
But we haven't seen, like, evidence. Like, we don't have any proof of that. I just think that that's where everyone's suspicions are, including ours.
Yeah, that
because Egwene says that's
was...
probably it, but they don't know for sure yet.
Yeah, that part was wild. Anyways, we'll get to that. But yeah, so we know who it's... We've been told it's one of these three. Mm-hmm. Now, who do you think it is?
Ooh... You know, my mind immediately goes to it not being Mara because because of the way that she's behaving with the sea folk. Yeah. But I also think that would be a great cover. Like, playing all meek with the sea folk would be a great cover for being a dark friend.
So, I think that we're supposed to think it's Saritha because Saritha's like, I can't train them, gotta go urgent business in the city. After we get the chapter about David Hanlon.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like either it's her or we're being set up to think that it's her and it's going to be like a bait and switch kind of thing.
Ember Eye says age creep, also power creep. I agree.
Yeah.
This series has an age creep problem. This series has a power creep problem.
Well, now, okay, I thought that, and this is interesting, and I actually think that this might be for the better. But we're told in the beginning, right? Nynaeve is like the most powerful, right?
Yes, that they've seen in 1,000 years.
In forever. And now there's a bunch of other Aes Sedai or people who can channel who have the potential to be way stronger even than Nynaeve.
Or just are way stronger.
Or are already, Which is interesting that our main characters are not the best...
Except for Rand, who's obviously...
Sure, yes. Rand is, like, the prophesied one, so it makes sense. But, you know, like, I thought Nynaeve was going to be the most powerful female channeler in the series. No, she's, like,
seventh now.
Yeah. But there's a bunch of people who actually, like, outrank her in that way.
I also think that, like, the villains from the early books aren't scary. And they haven't been for a while, right? We talked about this books ago, where I was like, I thought Myrddraal were going to be this, like, horrible thing the whole time. Mm-hmm. Whereas now, if Sen Bui killed a Myrddraal, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, so many people have killed a Myrddraal at this point on page that I'm like, oh, Myrddraal ain't shit.
I mean, only, like, our heroes.
Yeah, but, like, our heroes include, like, Aram, who killed a Myrddraal after having a sword for, like, 3 weeks. And, like, look, I get it. Tam is a great sword teacher. Right? I'm not denying that Tam's a great sword teacher. Yeah. But, like, it just, you know, there is a... They had to introduce Moradin because we needed a villain for Rand to face who actually frightened us.
Yeah.
Because all of the Forsaken, you're like, well, Nynaeve can take out a Forsaken. Like, what is Rand going to fight, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting... Along with the age creep of, like, everybody keeps getting older. And we're going to get to it in the Domain chapter at the end. But it is an interesting conversation around this series.
Yeah.
And a lot of series, right? I think a lot of things struggle with that. Pokemon is struggling with that, right? Pokemon's power creep is, like, wild right now. And the amount of work having to be done to keep old Pokemon relevant in, like, new metas is a lot.
What's the, is it Dragon Ball? The, like, power, like...
Yeah. Dragon Ball has the worst power.
You, like, told me about it, and I was like, that seems wild. But okay.
Because everyone could just reach a new power level when they need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we they don't come to an agreement quite yet. About do they?
For which? Sorry.
Oh, no. So Vendine, Elaine is like listening to Vendine. She's like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna teach them. Bye.
Basically, and Vandine is like, I did teach novices once, and the mistress of novices said I was too harsh.
Yes, the mistress of novices who became Emmeline Seat, Sorel Bagand, and Zaria and Christian, who are very, very, very old ladies, both pale at this, and they're like, wait, she said you were too harsh?
Great.
No, mommy, no.
Love that for us. Michael, thank you for that super chat.
Which I think means spankings.
Of course, everyone keeps getting older, nerdy. That's how aging works.
That is not what I mean.
He knows.
We'll
That's
get to it when we're talking about a 600-year-old Aes Sedai.
That's what the winky face is for.
I know, but like, guys, 600?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to it. We're going to get to it.
Yeah.
The Sanchin would literally have people who are old enough to have known people when they were younger who knew Arthur Pendrag.
What?
Like, if she's 600, like the bloodline of Arthur Pendrag would be so secure because there would be multiple people who can like watch over 600 years of those births.
Yeah.
Also,
you wouldn't be able to like fake that, really.
If you have a society where women live for like 600 years and their daughters have magic, you would have so many people with magic because you have a population growth issue.
Yeah.
Unless these women are like creating birth control to stop them, or are either not having sex anymore, or are creating birth control to stop them from having babies, you would have women having magical babies who then have magical babies who then have magical babies, on and on and on, and you would have these like growing magical populations.
Yeah. I have a question that I just thought of.
Yeah.
Do you think Cad Swain is is sworn on the oath rod?
Yeah, she has the Aegis face.
Yeah, but she's old.
So?
Well, we know that like she's like way older than any other Aes Sedai.
But she's also more powerful than almost all of them. The amount of power that you have is determines how long you live.
Sure, I'm just saying that like maybe she has like an inverted weave on her face to make it ageless.
Why?
So that people don't suspect about the rod. Because if she's not held by the oaths, she can do whatever the fuck she wants.
I don't understand. Like why would you guess that? Like what about her doesn't scream like the most like rule followy Aes Sedai person?
Well, I mean she does whatever the fuck she wants, right? But like
she comes across
just way older.
Sure, because she's more powerful. But, like, she comes across as, like, I am Aes Sedai. Like, I think the oaths probably are, like, mean a lot to her.
I don't know. We don't really know exactly how old Cad Swain is at this point. So
she's at least 400. It
was just an idea. Her, like, greatest failure was what? Like, 100 years ago?
No, 300 and something.
Oh, her failure was that far.
Yeah.
Right.
She's at least 400, because her greatest failure was, like, 372 years ago.
Yeah, I don't...
There's nothing about her character that would make sense to me. Like if they added that in, I would be like, that doesn't feel like the Cad Swain that we've gotten so far. She very much feels like a prophet of the White Tower, kind of like she's an evangelist for the White Tower, and so the idea that she would be circumspect to like the thing that makes them Aes Sedai feels weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a thought that crossed my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No. I hear you. So then we get to, where were we? Nynaeve shows up, and Nynaeve has been struggling to leave her bedroom that morning because she's been getting dicked down hard by the last of the Valkyrie.
Yes. She looks content, which is weird for Nynaeve.
And this is where the title of this episode comes into play, because there will be no Smut Corner today. Y'all, we are not ending the podcast with Smut Corner today.
Because
there's just no reason.
There's plenty.
How do you add sex to a section that is mostly just sex scenes?
Yeah. This is all smut.
Yeah, the post-nut clarity moments of these characters.
Yeah. I do love that. I do love that Nynaeve is like a little bit different now that she's getting laid. If there was ever a... Anyway, never
So
mind.
Nynaeve reveals to Elaine that they have sent 18 of the kin back into Sanchin territories
Yeah.
to get the rest of the kin out of the Sanchin territories.
So that hopefully they don't become domain.
Hopefully that, but do you think that this was a smart call?
I think that it's nice for those people who are there that someone's going to save them.
I'm like,
I don't know if it's going to be successful.
Isn't there a concern here that you're going to hand over how to travel, the weaves of how to travel by having people traveling within their territory like this?
Well, the weave, as from what I understand, it will dissipate after a few days. It doesn't stay like permanently, right?
Sure, but I'm saying like I feel like there's a greater risk of the Sanchin having access to it if there are 18 people bouncing around their territory using this power that they don't like they were so concerned about the Sanchin learning the weave when they were fleeing to Camelin, and now it feels like they like taught a bunch of people who I don't even know if they can really trust all that much. We don't know, like, these 18 kin are not named. We don't know them.
They're not named?
Maybe they're trustworthy. Maybe they aren't, right?
Yeah.
But, like, it feels like it's a huge risk to put the weaves of traveling out there in such a broad way.
I mean, I think they're intended to, like, travel, like, kind of nearby, but, like, a safe distance, and then head into the territory on foot, right? Like, I don't think they're meant to, like, travel directly into Abu Dar.
Ceasing says, didn't Nynaeve open the gateways and just drop them off, essentially? But how would they get back? Right? Like, wouldn't you just be dropping them off for...
I mean, I guess they would have, I guess they just travel back. But actually that...
Oh, are they not strong enough to travel? Maybe I misread that sentence. Because I thought they were saying that they chose 18 who were strong enough to travel. Oh, okay. So I have it backwards. They were too weak to travel on their own. How are they expecting them to get back?
They gotta walk.
Sneakily. Thanks, chat.
Sneaking.
Sneakily. Wow, so you're sending 8... Like, those women are going to become domain, unfortunately.
Well,
I don't have a lot of faith in them walking out of the Sanchin territory.
Here's the thing. The less powerful they are, the harder they are to detect.
But if you can if you walk by a domain, the domain can just feel that you can channel.
Yeah, if you walk by them, right?
But you
have to the weaker you are in the power, the closer you have to
leave the territory though. You're going to have to pass through checkpoints and stuff.
Of domain? I think domain are a bit too rare to be used at like soldier checkpoints.
What do you mean rare? They're not rare at all.
They're super expensive.
There's so many of them.
Yeah, but because all the royalty have them.
No, there are domain everywhere. There are so many domain. There's thousands of them. There have to be thousands of them, right? With how many we've seen die already, for it not to be like the number of domain would have to be insane for this army. If there are domain with all of these different pockets on all of these ships, like there would have to be so many.
Why?
Because
there doesn't have to be a domain on every ship,
if
right?
Tuon has 8 with her. She has 8 that are just her like personal domain that aren't even like military domain.
What do you mean military domain? They follow her orders.
What?
She only took her like 8 best with her.
But that's my point. If this one person has her 8 best, implying that she has others.
Yeah.
And there's also ones that are in the military, there would have to be so many domain. It would have to be like...
No, because only the royalty have them.
No, the military has them.
No.
Yes, we've seen them in fights. We've seen them being led into battle by the military.
Because the blood that is in charge of that, like, spear of the army owns domain. I don't think that the general army... it's not a general army thing. It's like you belong to this person of the blood.
That just doesn't track with what we've seen, though. Like, we've seen them used in battle by people who don't know them. Like, the situation with Tuon is different, right? Because Tuon is walking down the line and she knows the names of all of the domain under her.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, when we were with the guy who died in the mountains, he was like, are the domain ready? As if he had been given a contingent of domain that were going to be his, like, battle domain for that battle.
Yeah,
But they
because
weren't his. He didn't know them. They were just some random domain that were like his contingent that day.
Because he's like a faction of the army of the section of the army that belongs to the High Lady Suroth, right?
Oh, sure. She owns them.
Yeah.
But they're still like, there have to be thousands. There's
thinking,
no way there's like 100.
Okay, I'm not saying there's 100, but there's a big difference between 100 and thousands. Like, how many of the thousands? I would say maybe
like 50?
50,000?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say there's like maybe like 1,000 to 1,500.
There's no way there's 1,000. We've already seen 100 die.
What?
What? Like, we've seen 100 domain die at this point. In Falma alone, they were getting like blasted out of the street.
I don't think there were hundreds.
They had a house of them.
Yeah.
With like rooms of domain.
Yeah, that was like the first like station point, right? That was their first.
But my point is that if that was like if that house of domain was just the like forward party, right? Mm-hmm. That wasn't even like the main force. I'm not saying there are thousands of them in Randland, but I'm saying there have to be thousands upon thousands of domain in Sanchin for them to be shipping them over like this. Because they're not gonna take the majority of them to Randland.
Okay, yeah, maybe there's a bunch back at home, but I don't think there's 50,000 of them in the army in Randland right now. Like, that would be wild.
There have to be thousands in Randland right now. To make sense of how many we've seen in different locations, it would have to be like with how many it would have taken to take Amadisia, Abu Dar, Tenchico, and Falma all at the same time, and have any chance of holding them. Like, you would probably have a domain at every like major entryway, right?
I don't know. I guess it depends if like how you're getting in and out, right? Because there's not like a wall around everywhere else. You can just like walk through the countryside.
We know that Mazrim Taim just dropped off like 20 of them in Camelin. Mm-hmm. So, like, where did he find 20 Sanchin? 20 domains, right? If they're in packs of 20 around, there's going to be thousands of them.
I don't know.
Right? There would have to be. Otherwise, picking up 20 of them would be devastating for the Sanchin. If there's only, like, 1,000 of them and 20 of them go missing in one fell swoop, that would be absolutely huge losses.
Yeah, I guess so.
If 0.2% of your magic users were just gone.
Yeah.
Or no, 2%. Like a full 2% of your magic users were just gone.
20 out of
1,000 is 2%.
What? Yeah, okay, sure, yeah. I don't do the math.
You hate my math.
I don't hate your math. I just don't understand math, and so I have to do it.
All right, let's move on from this because we're not going to solve this right now.
Yeah, we don't have the information necessary.
So that was a spoiler alert. They're a domain in Camelin. We'll get to it.
Yeah. We'll get there. There's a lot in this chunk.
So they go to meet with Rian, the sea folk lady, because it's getting complicated, y'all. There are a lot of people from a lot of different cultures in the same place. And she's like, 3 of the captured domain might be ready to be freed of their collars. Ooh.
Uh-huh.
And we get a conversation. Lan is there, obviously. And we get a conversation about whether or not they should...
They should...
sorry, I'm just reading. People are doing math in the chat. That they should let them go. And Lan is like, yo... If you keep them captive, you're bad people. And I was like, thank you, Lan.
Yes, we get a pivotal moment.
There's one fucking character in these books who has moral backbone.
Yeah. And it's Lan. And that's why he's our favorite forever and always.
That's why he should be king of the Valkyrie if they were still around. Like, he would be a good king.
He would be great.
Yeah, he's strong. He's hard as granite. His dick apparently goes for hours.
Yeah, like he's great at satisfying.
Nynaeve is about to get a first sister just for some help lasting the night. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
She is horn out.
Oh my god.
She's probably also going to be pregnant soon if they're getting,
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
And so, yeah, what did you feel about the scene? Because it was, this was important to me.
Oh yeah, this was a huge moment for this series and for our characters, right? And it's funny because the other people in the room give Nynaeve shit like, oh, get a grip on your ward or whatever. And Nynaeve is like, okay, but he's right though, so...
Yeah, I don't love the warders are meant to be seen or are not meant to be seen or heard kind of part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I was like, Saritha, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, that's why she kind of seems like a dick.
But that's not Black Aja. That's just Aes Sedai shit.
I know.
Like the dehumanization of other people in this series is deep.
Yeah. It's deeply ingrained. This
Christian Rapper says letting the captured domain go is a huge risk, though. Yes, but if you tell them that you're going to let them go and then you don't, you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Also, slavery is bad.
Yes.
I can't believe that I'm making this point right now, but slavery is a bad thing.
Yeah.
That we don't like here.
Yes.
And if you don't agree with that,
there's other places on the internet to go.
it has been a week for people saying some shit that doesn't need to be said anymore because we've progressed as a society.
Yeah.
And like Nazis and slavery are the two things we're not fucking going back to.
No. We've established that those are very bad, no good things. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's this section. The weirdest part to me, honestly, was that even Alice was like, "Shut up, Lan," right? And she's not an Aes Sedai. She's just kin. But also, she's kind of that way to, like, everybody. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's just her and an Aes Sedai thing. But yeah, Lan is right. These people are slaves of the Sanchen. And you are no better than the Sanchen if you keep them in those collars when they don't want to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Project Myrtle says, yeah, hard to deprogram them, though. Here's the thing. I want to be clear about this. I think that they're doing the right thing in that they are not immediately taking their collars off, and they are treating them like rehabbing them, right?
Yeah.
I think that there is an appropriate way that they have to rehab them away from the collars, and that is unfortunate. I wish there was a perfect solution to this. There isn't.
Yeah.
But I think that if you get them to the point where they are ready to take the collars off, and they're not going to kill people because they are very powerful, I think there is a lot of value in, at that point, taking the collar off and doing the right thing, right?
And you have to, like, you have to trust at some point. Whether or not it stabs you in the back is what it is. But if you're gonna, like, if you're gonna try and be the better person, if you're gonna try and be a good person, that comes with risks.
Yeah.
You know. And what's oh, we gotta plug in the laptop.
Is it not plugged in?
I guess not.
Oh.
So this is actually when we meet, we don't exactly meet her now, but the one domain is more powerful than
Olivia!
Yes, that's it. I was like, I can't remember her name right now. Yeah. She's scary.
I like her.
She's fun.
Olivia is 600 years old.
Yep.
No. She's been a domain for more than 400 years. So she's probably like 415. So she's probably about the same age as the leader of the kin.
Alice?
No, the leader, Rianne.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
And so thankfully everybody agrees with Lan. They do the right thing. And they decide to let her out. Let them out of their collars.
Yeah.
Chapter 9, A Cup of Tea. Nothing bad could happen in a chapter called A Cup of Tea, right?
Absolutely not a single thing ever.
Michael Kiyoski's Olivia Newton-Baum is very funny.
Oh my god. Olivia's a very cool character, and I hope that we either get to find out more about her, or we even get, like, a POV.
Olivia is the most reasonable character in all of these books. Because
Yeah.
she's like, they've kept me captive for 400 years. Please let me go kill them all.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like, fair.
Yeah.
You can't even if she goes and commits mass murder, you almost, like, can't be mad at her. After 400 years of captivity, you've kind of got to be like, maybe don't for your soul, but, like, also, I get it.
Yeah, I cannot imagine what that would be like, especially because we've seen firsthand that the, like, training they give is deplorable. Like, it makes me so uncomfortable that I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see why you would want to go and just make them bleed, you know?
400 years is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, before we move on to chapter 9, the one thing we skipped over is that they also have soldams that they are that they're using the callers to convince them that they can channel.
Yes.
Not to keep them as captives.
Yes.
But once they're convinced that they can channel, they're just going to send them home.
Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant.
Oh, it's the perfect plan.
Yeah. Oh, no, we will send you home. We just need you to know the truth first so that you can go fuck up Sanchin communities.
Yeah, you have been lied to your whole life, and we're going to prove it to you. And obviously, at this moment, you know, they think that they're being manipulated to be able to see the weaves, so they still think it's magic. But, like, eventually, they're going to have to start asking some questions. And I would love if the Sanchin are not, like, defeated by Rand, if they just crumble within because the Sildam go back and they're like, guys, we got it wrong. Like,
I would love if Aegyanin is the reason the Sildam like revolt against the Sanchin.
that would be rad.
Because I like Aegyanin. Where the fuck, guys? We're at the 1 hour mark. We're gonna take a quick break from this podcast so that I can ask a few questions. Where the fuck is Logain? Where the fuck is Aegyanin?
Marilyn.
Where the fuck is Tom Marilyn? Where the fuck is Matt? Where the fuck is Loyal? Where the fuck is who is the leader of the circus? Val and Luca.
Yeah,
I need some more Val and Luca content.
No, we don't. We really don't.
Where the fuck is Slayer? Who the fuck killed Asmodean? Guys, I have questions.
Yeah.
I feel like I've missed some. Where the fuck is Hopper? No, we've seen Hopper a little bit.
I was like, Stranger Things?
We've seen Hopper a little bit.
Yeah, we did see Hopper. We got a little bit of Hopper, which was nice.
I know there's someone I'm missing. There's a question that I want answered, and what is it? I don't remember.
Where's Mistress Luhan?
Well, she's just in
No, I know.
Emmonsfield. I hope we don't go back to Mistress Luan because that means nothing interesting happened.
No, I know. It's one of those things where there are so many people.
Oh no, ship captain. Where the fuck is ship captain?
Oh, I thought I meant
Bale fucking Dolman. Guys, I miss him, and I'm worried about my boy.
Yeah.
I'm so scared that he's gone.
Everybody's dead.
Ember Eyes says that I have too much object permanence for this series.
Well, that doesn't bode well.
That's very funny.
Guys, Matt's dead. It's fine.
I just want the book to confirm it, because Rand, the Matt's dead joke was funny until Rand was like, he's not dead. I feel him. And I was like...
Like, okay,
Did you bond Matt by accident? Like,
yeah, I was like, I don't... Well, but here's
are
the
they
thing.
like Tavern Tide? Where the fuck is Galad
here's
and
the
where the
thing.
fuck is Gawain?
That's
Great
true.
question,
Gawain?
Robbie. Where are the two Gs?
Yeah, also...
Where are the OGs?
McNeil, thank you for that super chat. We will read and find out. Oh shit, what was I gonna say? Oh, what did I say? Oh crap, I lost it. It was very important.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Rand, when he thought of Matt, he kept having the flash of the face in front of his face that he like didn't quite recognize.
He keeps seeing colors.
I feel like that has something to do with Matt. Like,
I just
feel
think
like
that Rand
connected.
has discovered hallucinogenic mushrooms.
Oh, that's fair.
Or
No,
he
I don't begrudge him that.
Elaine's pussy was just so good that he's just like on a different plane.
No, he staggered before
He's been
Elaine...
gripped. He's been gripped so
God.
hard by that sweet, sweet Vagine.
Bitstorm, welcome back to the Narg Table for 11 months. Says we might want to read the first sentence of the next chapter as a teaser.
All right, instead of Smut Corner, we'll do that at the end. Because what are we going to Smut Corner, guys?
I don't know how we add
We haven't even
more
got to chapter
this.
12 yet, but
Yeah.
we already have... Nynaeve has been dicked down so thoroughly, and she's like, I want you to take me back to the rooms, and I want you to dick down me even more thoroughly. Let's go.
Dick down me. Guys, dick down me.
Dick down me.
Narcissus, thank you for that super chat.
That's a shirt. Dick down me. People be like, what?
One of those people will appear again in this series. Well,
Hey, no spoilers.
Hey, at least one of them will. You know, as for the rest, fuck them.
All right, so Elaine goes back to her room, and she meets with
Her
Nori.
first clerk. Yeah.
And
Nori. From Rings of Power. Sorry. I won't bring that up.
Oh, wait. Do you want to have that conversation really quickly right now?
What conversation?
Y'all, is anyone else in the Twitter of Time discourse right now? Twitter of Time is upset about the Rings of Power casting news from yesterday. And I find it fascinating.
Oh, about...
There's so many people who are like, why is Rings of Power getting news, but Wheel of Time isn't? Good question.
Great question.
It's because
Money.
I think Amazon wants the show to fail.
I don't know.
Do you want to know what I actually think it is? I think that Rings of Power is their baby right now, and they're like, oh well, we can't.
Wheel
promote
of Time is the redheaded stepchild.
I think that Amazon thinks they can't promote 2 fantasy shows at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think that they're choosing Rings of Power over Wheel of Time, and I think that that is a mistake because I think that Wheel of Time has more potential than Rings of Power does.
Yeah, I do as well. Which is saying a lot, considering the Tolkien universe. But you know what?
Yeah.
It's fine. Wheel of Time is definitely redheaded.
I just want to acknowledge the Twitter of Time people because I agree. When is the show coming out?
We see you,
It's been
but
a year and a
only
half.
when it's not spoiler stuff. So thank you for marking your spoiler tweets.
When is this show coming out? When is season 2?
Yeah.
Please, let me know.
Yep. Anyways.
But Zimian says, isn't it risky to follow the Twitter of Time? Wouldn't there be a possibility of spoilers? I don't follow anyone in the Twitter of Time.
Oh, no, we don't follow them. It just shows up on our feeds.
Twitter just knows that I love the Wheel of Time, and so it shows it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I said, people are pretty good at saying like spoilers for such and such books. So we're able to keep pretty spoiler free, to be honest.
What happened to that season of Origins that was supposed to come out by the end of August? Where is the Origin season? I love those Origin season 1. Me too. Especially the Ogier one. I thought the Ogier art in the Origin season 1 was so good.
I know. Jonathan Spears, thank you for the super chat. Welcome on in.
Olivia is one of their most interesting secondary characters. Oh, I'm excited for her. I like her a lot.
That means I think that we
really
get more
into
of her, which I'm very excited about because I want that. Please and thank you, our Lord and Savior Robert Jordan.
Christian Rapper says Amazon has already announced a lot of casting news. No, the problem is that
it doesn't get the.
It's not a comparison of like, well, one should get the other. It's that Rings of Power season 1 just finished, and Rings of Power and Wheel of Time season 2 should be just around the corner, and it feels like they should be ramping up Wheel of Time marketing, and they're not.
Yeah, very interesting.
Tom Maines, thank you for that super chat.
Tom Maines, thank you.
Wheel of Time is Amazon's pelvic contusion.
Wow, that sounds awful. I don't really know what that means.
It means a bruise on your dick.
It does?
I don't know what that means, but that's what it means.
You know what? Sure.
But, like, they must have made those Origins, right? Like, they wouldn't have announced them if they weren't produced. They wouldn't have been like, we're going into production, they're coming out in a month. You know what I mean? So, like, somewhere those are done, and they're just not released.
Maybe somebody fucked up. Maybe they made the Origins, and they made season 2, and then realized there was, like, contradictory stuff in the Origins for some reason. What they like did.
Yeah, maybe.
And someone was like, wait, we can't actually release this tomorrow.
Or maybe it like spoils season 2 in some way. I don't know. I'm just upset about it. The Origins thing really pissed me off.
That was a
I
disappointment.
really loved
all of them.
I really loved the Origins episodes.
Honestly, I think that they were fantastic.
They were some of my favorite parts of the season 1 experience.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we put out those videos each week, and, like, I was in love with the art. I was in love with the storytelling of them. I think those Origins episodes are super underrated.
Yeah.
And I just want more of that. Really.
Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely.
Season 2, 2024, it's being given the Carnival Row treatment. But Carnival Row was canceled. Are we getting a season 2 of Carnival Row? Wasn't that like 4 years ago?
I have no idea.
I liked it. I actually really enjoyed the first season of Carnival Row, but... Anyway.
Blue, thank you for the super chat.
Y'all kept ragging on Rings of Power, so they said...
It was to spite us personally. 100%.
Hey, look.
That's fair.
Wheel of Time over Rings of Power, 10 times out of 10.
Yes.
Especially now that Adar's... Anyway, we need to get back to book club. Sorry, guys. I got distracted.
Elaine has a cup of tea and nothing else happens in that chapter.
No, so we actually learned some interesting stuff about Heldwin Nori.
Yes.
He has basically been keeping Andor together. Like, fuck the queen.
Hey, we do not slander Morghese.
I'd fuck Morghese. I don't know what you're talking about. How is that slander? The woman's hot.
Fine, okay.
Call me Talonvor.
Call me Talonvor so I can...
I'll take the queen to bed.
Alright.
God damn.
Oh my god.
Milfy Elaine? Are you kidding me?
Jesus
what
Christ.
more do you want in this life, chat,
it's a great
than a
question.
Milfy Elaine?
Wow.
Although Elaine might be a MILF soon. Huh? According to Mint's predictions, Elaine might be all up on the pregnancy train. We might be getting babies soon, kids.
Yeah. about that?
There is a season 2 of Carnival Row in the summer? Wasn't season 1 like 2018? Why?
I have no idea.
Was Orlando Bloom just like busy?
Maybe.
What, in his 5 seconds in the Hobbit trilogy? Like,
yeah.
oh my god, guys, if I could
busy.
be Talonvor, Rafe Judkins, I will win an Emmy for you. Like, I will give you the performance of a lifetime if I can just follow whoever you cast as Morghese around and give like anime the eyes that Denji gives Makima. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
I will be
put you
horny
on a
for
leash.
mommy. She could. She
So,
absolutely could.
This is where we find out about the alum, which is very cool, very important. It's gonna be
Nori also has like
great for Andor.
Some reveals about Rand and what like the this was a really fun chapter because sometimes Robert Jordan will write like what people are thinking as these like big kind of sweeping random thought things at the end of books. This was a nice version of that where we actually got a character talking about the way that rumor is passing in a little bit more of a natural way than kind of the like sweeping like some people believe this and some people believe this, blah 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 blah. This
like
was
we
really
got
cool.
at the end of last book.
Yeah. But like Nori here being like, well, I've heard that he's gone to Aleida to kneel at her feet.
But I'm not a spy.
But
like,
yeah. And he isn't, right? He's just talking with other bankers.
Yeah.
I actually really, this whole Heldwin Nori thing was way more interesting than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, me too. I was like, oh, this might be a bit tedious. But we also
I like this guy a lot.
He's great. And we also find out about the Academy of the Rose.
Yeah.
You know, Andor's going to have its own school. And Elena's like, you know, yeah, we got to get to Tarmangaden, but there's got to be something left afterwards. Otherwise, what are we fighting for?
Well, and we had already known about the school, right? Because Rand had already said that he was setting it up. But I like the idea that Elaine is like, well, Rand was going, but I'm going to set it up now. We'll find money for it. But it's not Rand's school, it's my school. And very sweetly.
Yeah.
It's going to be dedicated to her mom.
I know. That was so sweet.
Oh.
I really hope that Elaine sees her mom again. Just for a moment.
Yeah.
Just a moment. And then she'll probably die brutally in front of her face at Tarmangaden.
Steph says we didn't get Morghese or Aleida in season 1, so why bring them in now? I don't think we'll see Morghese until like season 3. I don't think we'll see Morghese at all. I don't think there's any reason for them to go to Camelin in season 2. So I don't think we'll see... I think we'll hear about her. Like, I think there will be letters from home, and I think Morghese will be teased throughout season 2. I don't think we'll see Morghese until season 3.
If we even see her.
We will. She's got to be in it.
It's tough, right? Because she's plays an important part with the like the political struggles and with the White Cloaks and all of that.
Although, honestly, they could have her just be dead when Rand goes to fight Robin. And we never see her, and Robin actually does kill her off screen.
Maybe.
And we actually could never see Morghese, because I don't know how important all of this running around in the background stuff she does is. We don't know the end of the story, so I don't know if Morghese ever actually becomes important again.
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe you could just never show Morghese. Which would be sad, because like I want my redheaded mommy, but... you guys know I love my redheads.
What?
No. So we find out Nori is telling her there's all these like sea folk ships. The Queen of Saldea is on a long retreat. The Queen of Kandor is not in Chachin.
Yeah, we finally get an indication of those characters that we saw in the previous prologue.
Remember at the end of last book when I was like, why the fuck would you put this in the prologue and never mention it again? They finally mentioned it 211 pages into the book after the prologue that they're in.
Yeah.
We still haven't seen them. We still have no idea what they're up to, but
it's
been 900 pages since they were last brought up.
We might have an idea of what they're up to. They might be very close by.
We don't know what they're up to though. We don't know like
I
why.
don't really get it. Yeah. I don't understand why. That's true.
And is there anything else important that we learn? King Rodrin is gathering his army in Ludgard. And Elaine drops that she has her own information on him about what's going on with King Rodrin.
Yeah.
And Heldwin Nori is like, oh.
Interesting.
This was great. This was fucking great. Because he's like, oh, you're smarter than I thought. You're more with it. Well, then, because of your intelligence and your network, I'm going to give you a little bit more.
Little sprinkling on top about the Kyrians who are on Elaine's side for I was supposed to say the Iron Throne, for the Lion Throne and the Sun Throne.
And she definitely makes the right call by being like, we're not going to please tell them to stay in Kyrian, because if they come here, it'll be bad.
Yes, if the Kyrians put Elaine on the throne, that's like almost worse than Rand putting her on the throne, I think.
Yeah.
So,
and because they've been to war too many times, right? At least if Rand puts her on the throne, it's in Andoran putting her on the throne. Well, technically it's her brother, her stepbrother, but no one knows that.
that's true. No one knows that yet.
And so, I loved this. I wasn't expecting to love Elaine talks to her banker as much as I did.
Yeah.
But like, it was so good. This whole section with Haldwin was the kind of world building that I love, where it's world building from Haldwin's perspective as a banker, right? You really feel like you understand where his understanding of this world is perspectived from. And I was like, fuck, this is good. And this, honestly, chapter 9 is the reason why I read through chapter 12 without thinking about the fact of the audiobook reaction, because I think that this was just rad.
Yeah. And once you got into this section, it was like, okay, gotta keep going, because there's so much going on behind the scenes here that was really fascinating. So he leaves, and Elaine forgets to send for her food, so it gets sent to her, and she picks her bread and broth.
Funny. This was so funny. Where like the servants were like, "You haven't eaten yet, so we brought you a bunch of food," and she's like, "Oh no, I'll just take the bread and broth." And the servants are like, "Fine."
Yeah, they're like,
and starve.
Yeah, I guess Elaine doesn't like... She likes a light lunch, which I can understand.
But only because Linny told her to. Linny has been pushing the patriarchy on Elaine, being like, your waistline matters.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, a little bit of spiced broth in the afternoon actually sounds really nice.
Yeah, like
a bone broth?
Wouldn't be mad at that.
There's a place in New York on, like, 55th and 9th that all they serve is bone broth. And honestly, on, like, a real cold day, that line is 2 blocks long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all, like, the men and women in their, like, business suits just lining up to get all of that beef bone broth on a Tuesday afternoon.
Some soup.
Oh, my God. And it's worth it. Honestly, it's, like, $16 for a bowl. And it's like magic.
God damn.
Yeah. It's the like one thing that if I'm sick, I will Uber Eats to no matter where I'm at. I will pay whatever like the long distance charge is.
Get that
because I'm like, that will heal me.
Yeah.
God, it's good. I wish I remember the name of that place.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, we'll go next time we're there. But
so while she's eating, she is joined by Dylan.
Who's like, hey, there's an army in the woods.
In the Brainwood.
Yeah, so
there's an army in the Brainwood.
It's pretty crazy. It's a bunch of random Borderlands people, and Elaine's like, oh, it's probably Rand. Don't worry about it.
No, but this is interesting because this gets back into the conversation that I was having with you a while ago about a lot of my problem with people not recognizing Morghese is that you kind of have to go through Andor to cross Randland in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
It really is kind of central to travel. And so it makes sense that the Shienarans and the rest of the Borderlanders have ended up on the border of Andor because it is sort of this like central kingdom within Randland in a really interesting way.
Yeah. Everything happens in Andor, guys.
I mean, in this series, kind of. It all happens around Andor. And so they're just having some tea. 2 ladies who could be queen having some tea together. Super minty tea.
Yeah.
Like your Jade Citrus Mint.
Yeah, I got some minty tea here myself.
Oh no! It's got fork root in it! She's gonna pass out.
No, I can't channel, so like I'm good.
You would still pass out though, wouldn't you? Does fork root not knock you out?
No, yeah, it does. It doesn't really... I'm like, I actually wonder. It'd make me a little sleepy.
Does fork root only affect people that can channel, or does it affect everyone? I actually think that's an interesting question, right?
I'm not 100% sure, actually.
I don't think we get an answer to that, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, like, Dylan looks at her and is like, I know you're thinking about something. And Elaine's like, I've been poisoned.
Yeah. And the way that Robert Jordan wrote Elaine's perspective through this fight is really interesting. Because at first she thinks that Dylan poisoned her.
Yeah.
And then she looks to the door, and these men come in. Dylan pulls a knife out, and Dylan starts fighting them. And so Elaine's like, oh no, she's like on my team here.
Yeah.
And I thought Dylan died.
Me too.
I'm happy she's alive. Dylan is a fucking badass.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a bunch of like healers in the castle, you're Gucci. Otherwise, she probably like would not have survived. Potentially, but I love also that, like, conveniently only one dagger was poisoned so that Dylan didn't die.
Well, poison's probably expensive, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That's kind of what I got.
Yeah.
Or, like, only one of them is, like, trusted with something as dangerous as the poison.
As a poison dagger, yeah.
When you hire some, like, street thugs, you gotta be careful they don't kill themselves.
Dale, thank you for that super chat.
Nerdy is not the lesser of the relationship. No, I am. You're married, and I'm the man, so I am the lesser. Her strength is his, and his strength is hers as one. That's not really how it works.
Did you think I was gonna... You, like, flinched away.
I don't know. I'm her butler more than her husband, but
oh my god.
It's fine. I'm the Halwyn Nori to her Elaine.
You're the banker?
No. No, I'm the butler.
No.
I cook, I clean.
You're the husband.
I drive.
Uh-huh.
I'm the Alfred to her Batman.
Oh my god. I am not Batman. I want to be absolutely clear on that.
Within our relationship, you're Batman and I'm Alfred.
Yeah, well, people like you better, so...
I'm like the Min to your Rand. Like, you're the protagonist, and I read books and follow you around.
So I'm the asshole.
Yeah.
And you're the one that everybody loves.
Yeah, but you're the hot redhead.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm the
right.
Min to her Rand.
Yeah. Of course. Anyways, somebody barges in and saves Elaine and Dylan, and she passes out.
Yeah, no, but here, let's not jump over that, because Elaine doesn't go out, like, just, like, lying there watching. Elaine is literally, like, being knocked unconscious, and she still pulls a knife and is like, I'm gonna fight you.
Oh, yeah.
And she doesn't, like, do much, but she tries real hard.
She does try.
Because she's not going out like a bitch.
No.
Elaine's going out on her feet like a fucking badass. And I got props for that. Look, if you are not gonna go out like a weak little nothing, good for you, Elaine. Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
I love Elaine. This chapter, like, this whole section made me love Elaine.
Yeah.
Really, really love this character.
Yeah.
I think she gets some great stuff here.
Mama didn't raise no coward.
We see why she's gonna be a good queen of Andor, provided Andor survives Tarmangaden. Like, who knows what the fuck happens in the next 5 books, but...
Yeah. Spacey, thank you for the super chat.
Man guy has never stolen my money. He's my favorite.
Man guy?
I don't know what that's
Assuming
about.
that's you.
Oh. I have not stolen your money, Spacey. That is true.
But thanks for it.
Oh, got him.
So we get to chapter 10, which is called A Plan Succeeds, which is nice. It's nice when things succeed in the Wheel of Time.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't happen
I don't think we missed anything else in that chapter.
No, we didn't. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
Winter's Hot, chapter 10. Let's go. All right, a plan succeeds. Elaine wakes up.
Oh, actually, there was one thing that I wrote down that I think happened much earlier. And sorry, I
No, go.
didn't say when it was, but Brigitte's memories are fading.
Oh, yeah. She's like becoming more this version of her.
Yeah. Yeah, like she's losing the access to the like Teleranriod of it all. Mm-hmm. Which is like very... Do you think that is going to, like, affect Brigitte's, like, personality at all? Or do you think it's only, like, specific instances of, like, things that happened?
I don't think it will affect her personality. I think that, like, she is becoming more the person she's living in right now.
Yeah, okay.
Chris Zorander says we should do a Min and Rand cosplay with me in, like, flowery coat and breeches and you in, like, the Dragon Reborn
I'll get a coat. Yeah.
That would be really fun.
I can make myself like a luncheon staff.
Like you be like in the coat but like no shirt underneath, so it's super sexy, and then I'll lose some weight and we'll get like skin tight like.
We'll get you like nice like
honestly
suede breeches and jacket.
I have my flowery shirt. I already have the shirt for it.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That's fun.
I love that.
And so they wake up and Elaine is like, what happened? And like bad shit happened. And so Elaine is like, fine, I'll have a bodyguard. And so we learn about Doylan Millar, which is definitely a real name of a real person. Doylan Millar.
It's not my favorite name, you know?
Good old Doylan. Well, good thing he's definitely a real person, not a bad guy.
Yep.
He becomes the captain of her bodyguard, and Birgitte is going to find 20 ladies to be her bodyguard.
Yeah.
Because it's less conspicuous if you have an all-female bodyguard of women who wear sashes.
Here's the thing, right? Andor is a country of queens, so having female guards doesn't seem like it would be that weird.
Well, but that's my point though, is that they're like, it'll be less conspicuous, and I'm like, will it be less conspicuous? It seems like it will be very conspicuous. It seems like it will be equally conspicuous. Everyone's gonna know. They're all wearing swords. Like no one is gonna be like.
Oh, they're in uniform. They're not meant to
be spies. Well, and then we find out that they're in bright red from fucking tip to toe, and you're like,
Brigitte's taste is fantastic.
What is this? What is this secret bodyguard you built?
They're not secret, right? Like it's exclusive, but I don't think it's meant to be us.
Well, but I think that Elaine wants it to be like. I think Elaine wanted it to be more of a like when you looked at them, they wouldn't look like a bodyguard.
Yeah.
And Birgitte is like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
You're gonna look at these people and you're gonna fucking know. Jesus. Can you show me? I wanna know who is Elaine's bodyguard. Doylan Millar.
Anyways,
he's a real name.
He's super fucking sus, and we don't like him. As literally,
he fucks everything.
No, okay.
But with consent. I really love. This is the first time in all of these books where they're like, Doylan Millar will fuck literally anything unless they say no, and then he's not interested. The book goes out of its way to be like, Doylan Millar fucks everything, but he never pressures women and he never pushes them when they say no.
He just gropes them.
No, he doesn't. If they're not interested, he backs off.
He pinches a lot of bosoms.
But not bosoms. No. But this is the thing. It is really cool for the books to finally acknowledge that consent matters, and the fact that it is a fucking like Black Aja, evil villain servant man. It is so funny to me that they're like, yeah, this guy he's a dark friend, but like he respects women's consent, and I was like, thank you. Finally, this section talks. It's so funny because we've spent the last two book clubs complaining and like kind of rattling against how consent and like abuse and that works in this world. And then in this section, we get two very like in your face point of view moments about consent being important to characters, even the villains.
Yeah.
It's just weird for this series that has maybe not always respected that in the same way.
Yeah, it's definitely like part of the facade, right? He needs to like have a flaw, right? He likes to fuck, okay, whatever. But he like Elaine is told that like he's honest about it, so if they say no, then he won't do it. So he seems like a real like stand-up guy, right?
Oh, people are bringing up in chat. That's not what happens in the next chapter. I'm not talking about David. I'm separating David and Doylan. Into two different people.
Yeah, we know he's like a bad dude, but he's like putting on this persona of like, but like I'm a good dude.
What I'm saying is that it matters to Elaine and Birgitte that is their perception of it. Like him respecting women's consent matters to the ladies in this scene.
Yes, that is like important to them. They're like, look, he might be a bit of a.
He is actually an evil man.
Yes.
But the ladies, maybe I set that up wrong. But it is important to Elaine and Birgitte in this moment that despite the fact that he sleeps around, consent matters to him.
Yes.
I understand that consent doesn't actually matter to him.
Yes.
I think I said that up wrong. I was saying the point of view of Elaine and Birgitte. From their point of view, this guy who's like maybe not a great dude, but the women appreciate that he does that.
Yeah, it's important to them, which is why he's able to gain the position that he does, right? Because if he was in the palace, like, being, like, a little shit, Elaine would be like, yeah, okay, he saved my life, but he doesn't need to be, like, my head bodyguard, right? But, like, having this, like, perspective of him that is put forward, that he has put forward of himself, hey, I'm good, I promise. It gets him the position that he wants to be in, right?
Albino says Doylan Millar, respecting women, is the Charles Manson is a vegetarian of Wheel of Time. Fair. That is actually a good comparison. No, in the next chapter we'll see how he's trash. But
no, yeah, he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
But it is important to, like, Elaine and Brigitte that, he tries to fuck, but if they say no, then he doesn't, and that's the image that he wants to put out.
I also, like, in talking about this, I'm talking about it in the direction that we read it, where, like, I didn't know that Doylan Millar was a bad guy. Like, when I was going through this, I was like, oh, this Doylan Millar seems like a good dude.
Oh, I knew. Okay, as soon as there was an assassination attempt and someone just walked in on time to save them, I was like, no, this is an entire setup. Whoever saved Elaine is gonna be sus. And
see, because I didn't know that what was coming, I thought that they were going to set up Doylan Millar as a love triangle for Rand. So that's where I thought this was going.
Jesus.
I thought this was going to go down the route of, especially because they, like, bring up all this consent stuff and how he's super flirty, but he, like, always goes for consent.
Yeah.
I thought that all of this conversation was directing us to think that, like, Elaine is going to be torn between Rand and Doylan. Now, obviously, within a chapter, I thought I was disabused of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was first reading this through, I was like, oh, this is being set up as, like, Elaine's love interest for while Rand is away.
Right.
Then that was not the case.
Yeah. I mean, with a name like Doylan, sorry, someone's gonna have the name
This
Doylan.
is fucking Wheel of Time. Like, guys, there's too many names. There's too many characters.
Yeah.
I didn't find him super sus at first, but I'm mostly just, like, I just expected, like, there would be people in the hallways in Camelin, right? Like, it's not weird to me that there are soldiers in the palace.
Yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Dylan died, giving this guy enough time to get there to save Elaine. And then Dylan's fine, and this guy's evil, so, like, it was not what I thought.
That's fair. Yeah, but I was very sus.
Daishan says maybe his consent is just to dodge suspicion. 10,000%.
Oh, yeah.
David is a bad man who does bad things.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, make it seem like I'm making excuses for what's going on to Fallon, because that's fucked up, but...
No.
We need to acknowledge the Fallon stuff is messed up. But also the Fallon stuff is, they're evils. It's different when evil characters are doing evil things than when our good characters are doing evil things.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So then they go to Tel'aran'rhiod, even though everyone's like, you need to go to bed because you were just almost murdered.
Well, I love that Elaine fully calls Nynaeve's bluff. Because Nynaeve is like, no, you're not coming to Tel'aran'rhiod, right? And Elaine is like, because Nynaeve is like, you just slept for so long, you're not going to go back to sleep again. And Elaine is like, oh yeah? You're telling me there's nothing in this tea right here that's going to make me go to sleep? And Nynaeve's like...
And then there's something in the tea. It's crazy.
I know. It's almost
crazy.
Like our characters know one another. I do also
I like this moment, though. I did like that Nynaeve was, like, fully willing to just, like, knock her the fuck out for her own
she's
good.
like, I don't give a fuck. But I love that Elaine is like, if I get my way, Nynaeve is going to be, like, my Aes Sedai advisor when I'm queen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Probably not.
Nynaeve is not about to sit in Camelin. Nynaeve and Lan have to go make babies and bring Malkiri back.
Exactly.
So then they do end up going to Tel'aran'rhiod. This is more great shit. Y'all, this section is so fucking good. Mm-hmm. It's so fucking good. They go to Tel'aran'rhiod and they meet with Egwene and they share some information. A lot of it we already know as the audience, right? Mm-hmm. But is there anything that they talk about that you think is important?
In Tel'aran'rhiod?
Oh, I like the moment where Elaine is trying to hype herself up to be queen, and Nynaeve walks in and is like, what the fuck are you doing?
Why are you talking to yourself? That's fucking weird.
That made me chuckle. Because that's me. I every time I see a mirror, I'm like, you're not a piece of shit. You're not a piece of shit. You're not a piece of shit. People like you.
You're worthy. You are worthy.
We're not worthy.
Yeah, it's it was one of those things where they kind of just told Egwene what was up, You know, they're in communication.
And
with her.
Egwene is like, I would love for you guys to come join me, but like, if all of the kin showed up right now, shit's gonna go bad. We're trying to go war with the White Tower, and like, the war with the White Tower has not happened yet.
No.
We find out in this chapter, 230 pages into this fucking book.
Yeah, which is so freaking weird that we had that at the end of the last one. I'm very confused as to why this was ordered the way that it was ordered.
Yeah, that it makes me dislike chapter 31 from the last book more. That it is now just like, it's just a red herring at the end of the book for just for no reason, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do get the reveal about Nynaeve's accepted trial. There was a woman named Sharina Malloy.
Yeah, Sharina Malloy.
Who is she's now a novice.
Yeah. She was one of the kin.
Yeah.
No. She wasn't one of the kin. She's one of the people who showed up because of Egwene's new
Oh, the decree. Yes,
yeah.
That anyone could learn how to channel.
So I'm excited to meet Sharina 2 books from now. And then, so just as they're about to, Egwene...
and this is when we get the Oath Rod stuff as well.
Egwene sets up her, idea for how they're going to keep the tower, but also have the kin involved. And I kind of like that the kin are going to become the, old ladies society. And I have a feeling that Cadsuane is going to become, the leader of the kin by the end of the series.
Of the Old Ladies Society.
James Smith! Thank you for that super chat.
Super chat.
I almost forgot a book club. How dare you?
What?
Blasphemy. I know. Have a great time at the con. Thank you. Can't wait to listen after work. Before I forget, Cadsuane is the... Sorry, Clarks, can't do any more nerdies, right? Yes! Fuck Cadsuane.
Wow.
Especially in this section. Guys, we're going to get to Cadsuane.
Wow.
Literally, Cadsuane. Hey, Cadsuane. Do something.
Whatever.
Do something. I feel like I feel like Dudley Dursley, and Cadsuane is the snake in the first book, and he's poking on the glass, and he's like, do something!
You know, Dudley Dursley is the villain in that scenario, right?
I'm just talking about the one scene. Oh my god.
I'm just saying, you're the one that made that
You're
comparison.
the one making the glass disappear, falling into the tank, getting your panties wet for Cadsuane fucking Sedai.
That's fine, Jesus. I'll take it.
So then, the Egwene reveals, this is huge, actually. This is pretty huge. Egwene reveals that they are going to have to take the oaths. To which Nynaeve is like, we have to fight the Dark One.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Also, these bitches be old.
Yeah. We think that swearing on the oath rod cuts your life in half, so does that mean they're just going to drop dead when they swear on the oath?
I really should write for the TV show, because I really think that the line in this moment should be Nynaeve going, these bitches be old, yo.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine?
But
change none of the other dialogue. Everything else is very old-timey Wheel of Time. And then in the middle of season 6, Nynaeve just goes, these bitches be old.
You were like, what is happening here?
And Cadsuane shows up and just smacks her in the mouth with soap. She's like, no. Bad language.
So this is when we find out that one of the women is nearly 600. She's almost 600 years old and she's a kinswoman. In Ebudar,
Wild.
but she's probably not gonna be kinswoman anymore because she's gonna be in dead domain.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. So the plan is to have them unswear when they become a kinswoman. Which, all right.
Unswear the oath so they can live longer. My thing is that they're just guessing about the oath rod being the reason for it. They don't actually know, so they don't even know if that would work.
I know. Yeah. They're gonna have to test that.
And who knows, if you've been under the oaths for 150 years and you unswear your oaths, can you survive that? It just this plan just seems so it's like any of Elon Musk's ideas about Twitter, where it could work.
Yeah.
There's no reason to believe that it will, but sure, why not try it? What could go wrong?
Yep. What could possibly go wrong? And we get a mention of Halima. Fucking Halima, just fucking up Egwene.
Yeah, with those good fingers.
Wow, I didn't like that. But then they realize they're being spied on. Because some guy literally walks into the room with them.
Yeah, so we find out that there is a man who looks like Rand's uncle.
Yeah.
Do you think it's Rand's dad?
No, I feel like his dad is dead.
We don't know that. We just know that he disappeared into the Blight. And then Elaine says that his coat, the Shinaran coat, reminds Elaine of the Borderlanders in Brainwood, and she mentions that too, Egwene, right? So, my question is Rand's dad alive? Guys, this section has been so fucking good. Did we just meet Rand's fucking dad? And is Rand's dad dead? And he's a ghost like Brigitte, and he's one of the Horn called good people?
Oh, he's one of the heroes.
Did he like die fighting the Blight, and so he gets to be one of the heroes of legend? Will Rand get to meet his dad the next time the horn is blown? Like, there's so many fucking possibilities here. But why would it be Rand's uncle? Rand's uncle, like, I don't even know if Rand has uncles.
But here's the thing. Rand's dad... No, never mind. That's his mom. Okay. Fuck.
Rand's dad is an Aielman, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Who died in the Blight. Right?
Died in the Blight? I don't remember what happened to him. If Rand had a mean uncle, yeah. Yeah, I don't really... I don't know who this is. Like, did he look that way on purpose, or is that actually
Chad
how
is
he
saying
looks?
Slayer, but Slayer looks like Lan.
Slayer looks like Lan.
Not Rand.
Yeah.
Wait, F's? You know who this is?
I don't know if we've met anyone
We
who
know
looks
who
like...
this is.
I don't think we've met anyone who looks like Rand. Because Rand... Here's the thing. Rand looks like his mom. We know this for facts. Everyone's like, wow, you really look like your mom. Like,
okay. So then, that was Tarangil, right?
we're not talking about Tam. Tam is his... Like...
Tam is not his dad.
Not his birth dad.
Yeah. And Tam is just... Where is Tam? I don't remember. Tam's somewhere.
Tam is in Two Rivers.
Where is Tam? Is he still in the Two Rivers, or did he live with Perrin? He probably still in the Two Rivers. Who is this guy? If we already know him, if we've met him. Rand's uncle. Tall, redhead. He's gotta be a fucking Andoran then.
No, he's an Aiel. He's gotta be an Aiel.
No. If it's Rand's uncle on his mom's side. We're not reading chat, guys. Don't worry about spoilers. We're looking away intentionally.
We're not reading it.
S is what we type to move spoilers up so no one can see it. I guess it could be Slayer if, like, Rand looks like Lan, but I've never thought of Rand as looking like Lan in my head. But I guess it's because I see Lan as being Asian.
No, but Lan is
because
blonde.
Daniel Henney is Lan to me.
Yeah, no, Lan is blonde in the books. He's not. So that it can't be Slayer, because Slayer looks like Lan.
Huh.
So it can't be unless it's someone who like shapeshift.
Apparently we've just forgotten.
All right. Okay.
Sure. We're going to move on, because I can't figure it out. It would be fun if it's Slayer, because then, like, Slayer finally came back.
The only people that we have said who look like Rand is his mom.
And, like, the Aiel, because he looks like an Aiel. But
Well, yeah, but it doesn't, like, he looks like an Aiel. Not like he looks like this Aiel, right?
all right, let's move on. So yeah, that happens. And then so we cut to Asni's point of view. Or no, the women like run after him, but they don't get him.
Yeah, they don't get it, and they think that there's also somebody else spying.
Asni is sitting with Chesmel.
Yep.
Just Robert Jordan, I just come back from the dead and just punch me in the fucking face. Like Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Asni and Chesmel are sitting they're Leandrin's Black Asha. They're two of the 13 that left with Leandrin. We learned that.
Yeah, and they've been working for Moghedien, but Moghedien hasn't been around for a while.
Yeah. And then Eldrith shows up, who's in charge. And they're kind of like waiting for Moghedien, but Tamail comes in.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Asni, Chesmel, Tamail, and Chenet.
Tamra,
This fucking section.
Siren, there's
Narcissus, thank you for that super
so
chat.
many names in this section.
Be comfortable that this confusion about who this is common with most viewers at this point. It is better when you figure it out naturally later.
Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate that super
Is this
chat.
who killed Emodian?
Yeah.
Don't fucking answer that in the chat, for fuck's sake. So Tamil is the one that was spying on Nynaeve and Elaine.
Yep. She's like, guys, I heard some stuff. Although I don't know how much of that was like super important. Except maybe
Not
like
really.
the army being there.
Learning
like...
about the kin is because they can then... No, actually, learning about the kin is super important. Because they can now sew that into the Egwene's army. Like, if they can send it to an operative they have in Egwene's army, like Halima, then they could pass that around and they could ruin Egwene's strength, right?
Yeah. That's fair.
And then, that's kind of it. It's kind of just like a reminder of the Black Aja being in Camelin.
Yeah, they're in Camelin. They're hanging out.
And they're one of them is having is letting her warders know where she is because she thinks that soon she's going to need steel.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but
really
like
cool.
one of the other warders tried to like, Rantamore, thank you. Welcome back to the nerd.
General
table.
message of support. Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Rantamore.
One of the warders, one of the women
Kenneth.
let her like bond slip for a bit, and her warder was able to find her.
And Kenneth is going to kill her no matter what the consequences to himself. Kenneth is, I cannot wait to meet this guy.
Yeah.
This is
meet
is the
Kenneth.
new Ken now that the first Ashaman is dead.
Yeah.
Ken 2.0 is coming to kill Chesmal. or Eldrith,
I
one of the
cannot wait
girls.
to see him like single-handedly just take out this knot of dark friends.
Okay, and then we cut over to Millie Skane's point of view. Guess what, you guys? It's an S name. I know her first name's Millie, but also Skane. You know what I mean?
Also, there's so many S's.
Or the Lady Cheyenne, the assassin lady.
Yes, from book 1.
We find out that she is keeping Fallion as like a weird sex slave for David as a punishment, which is super twisted and weird. And they're bad people. So,
yeah, in case you didn't know, the Dark Friends, not very
the
nice.
bad guys?
Yeah, they're definitely the bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So we kind of learn how Lady Shane became a noble, and it was by murder because she is a bad person.
Shocking.
And then Marilyn.
Marilyn.
No, Marilyn.
Marilyn?
Marilyn Gamalfin shows up.
Marilyn Morden Marilyn.
And there's two Aes Sedai whose names are Marilyn and Marilil.
Yeah.
There's Marilyn and Marilil.
And there's also Morellin.
Yes, and there's also Morellin.
That's just fucking rude. Thanks, Robert Jordan.
I cannot keep track of who these people are.
I know.
I'm literally at the point where I can't keep track of who I'm talking about anymore.
Yeah.
Because there are characters who are like, this person is a dark friend. And I'm like, wait, Marilyl's a dark friend? And I was like, oh no, that's Marilyn. There's an N in that name. I'm just dyslexic and I can't read. And like the names are, the rhyming names that have most of the same letters, it's fucking fucked.
It's so rude.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
For my brain. There are probably many people who are like, I never struggled with any of this, and I'm really happy for you. But like the names of the Wheel of Time are the hardest part of this whole thing. To have Millie talking to Marilyn about Marilil and Marianne, and
Yeah. It's, yeah. And
Who-
none of them have like normal names.
Who retracted James Whittegg's Why is David? That was a funny joke.
No, retracted means he took it back himself.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Why is David was funny? Because other people are... Oh, because I think Rantal Moore had already made the joke.
Oh, it's fine.
But
I
like
understand.
Morden, Marilyn, Marilil, Millie...
Mogadine.
The M's are becoming as bad as the S's.
I know. Anyways, David Hanlon, bad guy, now is the captain of Queen's Guard. So
Yes.
Fuck that guy. And we get to chapter 11.
Yeah.
Ideas of importance.
Oh, and there's apparently a Black Aja in the castle. So we don't know whether it's Saritha,
But they make it like
Carrie-Anne,
seem
or
like it's Saritha.
Marilil.
Yeah.
But in this moment, the lady Cheyenne is like, well, we have a Black Aja inside, so we're going to do the thing. If you like fruit wine as much as I do.
Still don't understand that.
It's a reference from Schitt's Creek.
Oh.
Marie Sue.
No, God. So we go to Rand. Because there's too many fucking Aes Sedai names for us to deal with anymore.
Guys, we're getting so close to chapter 12. Are you ready?
So close.
Rand steps out of a gateway into like a weird, like, dusty storeroom with moth-eaten, moldy tables.
Yeah.
And Min's there with him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we gotta go, because I'm about to throw up. And Min's like, you need to go see Elaine and Avienda. And he's like, no, they don't love me. You're lying to me, but you love me, and, like, that's cool. But, like, we're gonna be secret. Mm-hmm. And so he puts on a very ugly disguise.
Yeah.
To go see Nynaeve and Matt.
Yeah.
Guys, it's a Matt chapter.
But Matt's not there.
Matt's dead.
Because he's dead. F's in chat for the Matt, please.
So he mirror of mists himself into an ugly, wart-faced boy. And they start walking around the palace. And as immediately they run into Harfer, the first maid. And Min is like, I have to go do something. Can you take Rand to
Which doesn't say
to
Rand.
Nynaeve? Can you take Nully? And
he's got some something for Nynaeve.
Rand is like, this is not. We're supposed to. What are you
She's
doing?
like, bye.
Bye. I'm gonna go do. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna do my own thing. And I just know Rand is in that moment going like, women. I fucking hate women so much. But Min is so hot in those pants. That ass. But God, women.
Yeah, that's his exact internal monologue.
Yeah.
So Mistress Harper is like, you are very suspicious. But we're gonna.
She's so mean to him.
I know.
Min is like, oh yeah, no. Nynaeve is having him do this errand for her, and Mrs. Harper's response is just to be like cruel to this man.
I know.
Who's just doing his job.
Yeah.
Like Mistress Harper, this man has done nothing wrong. He's ugly, but like Mistress Harper is mean to ugly people.
Yeah.
And like that's not cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know. She's very sus of him. For no reason, although I guess the fact that they just like showed up in the middle of the palace is kind of sus.
Deep down, she's like, I think this man is about to deflower the queen. She knows. Mistress Harper sees the future, and she has a brief vision of Elaine just getting absolutely gutted.
No. Barry Wolf, thank you for the super chat. Rand must have inadvertently seen Ulver's dad at some point for this disguise.
That's the face he keeps seeing. That's with Matt.
Oh, it's Ulver. Yes. That makes.
What if he runs into Brigitte with that disguise on, and she gets all horny for him, and then Elaine can feel her horniness through the bond, and now suddenly it's like a weird threesome situation.
Hey, that's mine. Josh, thank you. Welcome back to the Nerd Table.
Wheel of Time Compendium app to remember names.
Yeah.
Then I have to like have another app. Like.
Well, but also I just worry about spoilers. But.
Yeah.
It's. Oh boy.
What if Brigitte sees... That would have been so funny. If Brigitte, like, Elaine can feel Brigitte get all horny seeing Rand's ugly disguise.
And she's like, Brigitte.
That's it. Robert Jordan, you missed a great opportunity here.
Truly. Mistress Harfor takes Rand to go see Nynaeve. And I love that he, like, gives her some, like, code words. He's like...
Well, no, we're not there yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We cut to Nynaeve's point of view first.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, don't skip to chapter 12. We got to get through chapter 11 first.
Sorry, my bad.
Because we might talk about chapter 12 for an hour, you guys.
Buckle up.
Nynaeve is with the Windfinders, teaching, and fuck, I hate the Sea Folk.
Yeah, they are really shitty.
I promised to be positive this week, but can I have, like, one moment of negativity?
Yeah.
Can I just have one brief moment? I kind of don't love... in the Wheel of Time, how all of the foreign cultures have the same thing going on. They are all really strict. And not even all the foreign cultures, because the White Tower is the same. But, like, they're all different, kind of. But they're all based on the same, like, there are women in this culture who are in charge and they're mean about it. And it's so consistent across all of them that they're not actually as different as I want them to be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, the Aes Sedai, the Aiel, the Sea Folk, even the Sanshin to some extent. The Sanshin are probably the most different.
Yeah.
But the Aiel, the Sea Folk, and the Aes Sedai have a real consistent... They're just kind of mean.
Yeah.
As a form of leadership.
Yeah.
And I think it's bad leadership. But the books treat it like, oh, they're really good at being leaders because they're just aggressive and...
Yeah.
And, like, dismissive. And I don't... I don't get it. I feel like I'm supposed to dislike the sea folk.
Which is weird because the moment that Elaine had on the ship, I was into it. I was like, oh, we're learning some really interesting things. They seem really cool. But yeah, it feels like Robert Jordan was in the military, and so every society has a very rigid, militaristic hierarchy. And we don't really vary from that at all. At least that we've seen. Maybe the other S society that we haven't been to yet. Although no, every 7 years their leader dies, so that also seems pretty fucking bleak.
Well, we don't know about the Sharans yet.
Well, yeah, we don't
we
know.
We only know
that
them. One thing about them.
But like all the societies that we have right now just seem to be like very aggressive.
Samantha A says, "Remember when you said you were looking forward to see what would happen when Nynaeve encountered people stronger than her?" The thing is that like I was excited to see that from the perspective of the characters growing, because she sees that there are characters who are stronger than her, who I was hoping that she would meet characters who are stronger than her and didn't need to be so like pushy about it.
Yeah.
And instead she's met people who are stronger than her but use the same bullying tactics that she uses.
Yeah.
And like and that's kind of my problem with it, is all of these societies are just bullies. Cadsuane is a bully. Sorlia is a bully. Rianne is a bully. The leader of the Sea Folk is a bully.
Alice is a bully.
Alice is a bully. And like the problem is that in Robert Jordan's version of matriarchy is just women being mean to each other. And no, but seriously, like that is what comes across in a lot of these interactions in a way that isn't pleasant to read and doesn't really make sense to me as a society. Like the Sea Folk, like Robert Jordan writes these societies as if characters would put up with being treated this way constantly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that they would. I don't think humanity deals well with this kind of treatment. We as a species are more likely to push back. And I don't know. The fact that every single society that we meet in these books has the same like old bullying women at the top and people put up with it is just, it's getting a little bit tired.
Yeah.
And it's so similar that like I need variety.
I think that's it. I think that it's just missing variety in the systems of what has stuck around, right? I don't mind that there are societies that are like that, right? Things become ingrained in tradition, and humans like familiarity, right? So if it's familiar, they will gravitate towards it. But like the fact that every single society just kind of has the same tactics for leadership, at this point I was just hoping that the Sea Folk would offer something different that I could be invested in, that I'd be like, oh, cool. But they're kind of just more of the same.
It's definitely not historically accurate. These societies, no human society has been as strict a structure as these. You might see that within like city states, like you could say like Sparta has that, but for the most part, people don't have. There isn't such clearly defined systems of leadership where like people know down to like in a room of 20 people, they know exactly who they fit between. People are more generalized into groups.
It's also, I think, that the military and the general population become conflated, right? Mm-hmm. Because like this feels like all the Aiel are basically like militants except for blacksmiths.
Well, and we don't really see, and I think that part of the problem is we never see those characters.
We never see the other side of things. We only get the perspective of the harsh and rigid, like, crime and punishment kind of structure. Yeah. Which, like, is just more of the same. It's not, like I said, it's not that it's bad. I think that, like, there's important things in value, and I think Robert Jordan is saying something about the world, but at this point it's just like, okay, they do the same thing as everybody else, so I'm not really that interested. I
find it a little bit, I just find it kind of bland. Because
that's what I mean. Similar. They're all very similar. So
I was hoping the Sea Folk would be very different from the Aiel. They're not. Yeah, they're kind of the exact same thing. I find the Windfinders and the Wise Ones to be so... And, like, the fact that every single one of these societies does the same... like from Nynaeve and the women's circle, well, that's women's circle business. Everybody has to stay out of it. The Aiel wise ones have wise one business, and everybody has to stay out of it. The Aes Sedai have Aes Sedai business, and everybody has to stay out of it. The Windfinders have Windfinder business, that everybody has to stay out of it. It's the fact that it's this exact same copy and pasted into each society that I find just I wish that they were different.
Yeah,
I wish that we met a society
variety.
where men were more equal. And maybe that's Shara, but like I find the copy paste of it to be boring.
Yeah.
Not the individual societies themselves.
Yeah.
It's that by the time we meet the sea folk, we've just kind of already seen this version of how Robert Jordan writes this 5 times, and so the 6th time you're like, oh, hey, wait a second. Robert Jordan is just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah,
he's not creating new things.
Feels like
it's Aiel on a boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's not my favorite. Thing. That's not my favorite like trope.
I was hoping for something else.
Yeah.
But it's not, and that's fine. Samantha, thank you for that super chat.
Samantha says, in Randland, you either belong to a society of hyper-authoritarian spankers or pacifist tinkers who all get pwned all the time. Choose one. I agree with you 100%, Samantha. It really is one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think that it's why I love Perrin so much, because Perrin, as a character, lives in a more... Like, I think Emond's Field lives in a more realistic place where they have a system of government that has multiple people who talk to... And, like, obviously, Perrin is the leader. But, like, it seems like the people are there for the general good of other people. And it's less, like stamp aggressive as we get a kind of... Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I was really interested to find out more about the Sea Folk, and it was not as interesting as I hoped it would be, you know?
They just kind of felt like less interesting Aiel to me.
Yeah, and the whole thing about, like, well, if you are, if you are tried and convicted of, like, showing favor because you're related to somebody, you get fucked. Like, so...
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
because you would have people set off on their own then.
People would leave. Like,
Robert Jordan does not write enough people walking away from these societies because they're fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
There needs to be more Aiel who live in Randland because they couldn't deal with the bullshit.
Yeah, this poor girl is like, yeah, no, I love my mom. We're great. And then she was like, oh, no, you think she hates me because she treats me this way. And, like, the family members have to stay in their, like, subservient positions for years longer than other people. I'm like, people will get upset about that. Like,
yeah,
you know, that I don't think that would fly every single time.
Yeah, it's Robert Jordan's politics are weirdly pro-authoritarian in a way that I don't really know what he's trying to say about real life. Mm-hmm. Like, Robert Jordan seems to be, and I don't know if he is as a person, right?
Yeah.
I'm not coming down his real world politics, but it comes across in his books that he's very pro-authoritarian. You know, he writes a very cynical, very a very almost fascist sort of political state ideology into all of his ideologies.
Yeah.
And there's not very much variety in the politics of Randland.
Yeah.
It is a very right-wing, conservative, like, cynical political point of view that is it's hard to, like, understand with the world that they live in.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I definitely just wish there was more variety. Ashandra says we need more Elias. Fuck you, I'm out. The thing with Elias, though, is that because of the Wolf Brother thing, there's, like, a concrete, like, reason that he kind of had to go off. Right? Like, it's one of those things where...
Marisa says Robert Jordan was pro-monarchy. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, I can see that.
I get that 1,000%.
Yeah.
It also just is like when I learned that he was from South Carolina and he writes slavery the way that he does, I'm really hoping that there's an end goal for the slavery conversation in Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like a South Carolinian writing the, like, oh no, the, like, slaves enjoy being slaves narrative that
I don't think
really uncomfy.
Yeah, I don't think that the domain thing is going to stay that, right? I think that there's a lot to unpack there.
I don't want to have that full conversation until we've read the end of the story to see where it's going. Because I want to believe that the domain will... I want to believe that there's a reason for it. Mm-hmm. But I also don't love the, like, slaves who like to be slaves storyline. I think that is... I don't find it to be realistic. And I also think that it is, like... It's very uncouth. And so I'm hoping that there's a reason for it. We just haven't gotten there yet.
They've been conditioned and, like, brainwashed in a sense. And I hope that matters to like at the end of the series. Yeah, that there's a reason for all of that. Because, oh man, it is, especially this last section was like tough.
Yeah, we'll get to it in chapter 14. That's gonna be more conversation.
But we gotta get on. We gotta get on this. We're 2 hours in.
Oh my god, this is gonna be a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
Knowing us. So then
no one is surprised.
Nynaeve teaches, but we meet Talan, who is has the potential to be more powerful than Nynaeve, and she like figures out some ways around Nynaeve's weaves, her shields, by being like the 6-pointed like, what did you do? And then Nynaeve like sneaky. Comes up with a way to beat that, and then Talan comes up with a way to beat that, and then it gets really fucking weird here, where they have Talan hold her and like fuck with her to see if she can break through the shield to make sure that Nynaeve's lying, not lying.
Yeah.
And like I got very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like I was like, fuck the sea folk.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, fuck them.
Yeah, because here's the thing: you can't like if you're expected to all work together, you have to trust somehow. And like I understand that the Aes Sedai aren't giving you exactly what you want the moment that you want it, but that's because there's like more important things going on, like Tarmangaden is coming, you know?
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, we need teachers now. And it's like, okay, you know, like we're all like doing our best here.
The Aes Sedai are not going to teach you if you don't show respect.
Yeah.
And this is my problem with Robert Jordan also writes in this concept of societies who are incapable of working with other societies.
Yeah.
Everyone in Robert Jordan's writings.
Nobody can talk to one another.
They're all fucking terrible at diplomacy.
Yeah.
And they're all like, you have to live by our rules. And it's like, or you could just like, you could meet them in the middle a little bit.
Yeah.
And nobody ever meets anybody in the middle in this series.
Yeah.
And so it just is like, it feels like I'm being like rubbed between two pieces of friction that I don't want to be between as the reader. And it's just not pleasant sometimes. This scene was really unpleasant to read. And also, it doesn't really have a point. Like, there's no... it's kind of like when Min is spanked by Soralia, where, like, this was the one section this week of reading where I was like, this doesn't really do it. There's nothing... Like, this is just cruelty for no sake.
Yeah.
They could have just... Robert Jordan could have just written that Talan breaks the shield. It's a heroic moment for her.
Yeah.
We meet this Talan character in this heroic moment. And instead of, like, just moving on from that, we have to do this, like... And then it gets dark and weird and twisted and cruel for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
And it, like, ruins the moment. And I found that unfortunate for this because I thought it was actually a really cool scene that was just ruined by some like really just pointless, lazy cruelty. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, are we supposed to not like the sea folk? You know, like, is that the point of the scene? Because
I don't care about them.
No.
So, like, now I'm just like, well, fuck, like, why should I give a shit?
Yeah.
Why am I showing up for more sea folk chapters? Like, what is it about them that matters? Because thus far, some of them helped with the Bowl of Winds, but other than that, the sea folk have been fucking useless. They've done nothing. They have no goals. And that's part of the problem, right? The sea folk don't have any desires. They don't have any, like, they want to work for the Korra more, I think, but, like, I also don't know that they do. Like,
yeah.
The sea folk are just sort of this, like, nebulous other that don't have any purpose for our characters and don't seem to have any purpose for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think that if Robert Jordan had just set up what they want and what their goals are, and maybe if we learned some Korra More prophecies or something, just to give us, like, an in on them, because right now they just feel like this wall that I'm looking at.
Yeah. Where the only like tiny pinprick of light is
Talan.
Right?
She seems cool.
She seems great, and you know, she's like, I want to be an Aes Sedai, and then he was like, oh shit.
Malindia brings up a great point. Now we all can travel. Why do we need boats?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I just wish I understood them. I like. There's a lot in these books that I think is amazing. I like the Aiel a lot because I know what the Aiel are doing. Like, I understand how they got here.
Yeah.
You know, I really like reading about the Sanchin. I fucking hate the Sanchin.
Yeah.
But I think that they're interesting villains.
Yes.
And I also understand their desires. And I think that if we had just been given some desires and some, like, purpose for the sea folk, I could be really invested in them. As it is, though, they're just cruel.
Yeah.
And, like, aggressive. And that's it. That's all they are. They're not doing anything. They're just sitting around complaining and being mean about it.
Yeah.
And so every time we cut to them, I'm like, I either tell me what this is about or I don't give a shit. And that's kind of and that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
At least we got like a bit of an explanation from Talan that was nice, and she's like, "I want to be Aes Sedai," and then he was like, "Look, I can see that you really want this," and Talan was like, "Oh, thank you," and then runs away before Nynaeve can say anything, and then he was like, no, what?"
Yeah.
All right, and then Lan shows up, of course, because Lan knows where to be at all times.
J-Jack says Jordan's version of being progressive is being pro-polygamy, pro-toxic matriarchy, and being cavalier about casual bigotry. Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what's funny is that when we were like, we're going to read The Wheel of Time, people are like, Robert Jordan was really progressive for the 90s, and now we're 9 books in, and honestly, like, he wasn't.
I don't...
He really, he really wasn't. His politics are, like, late 18th century.
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those things where the series is not what I expected. That's for sure.
No, it's not.
But Lan shows up. And then Nynaeve flirts and is like, "I want you to fuck the shit out of me," and Lan laughs. Basically.
No, that is exactly what happens.
That is what happens.
Talan wants to go to the White Tower.
Yeah.
And Nynaeve wants Lan to dick her down.
Yeah, and so they go back to her rooms. But the rooms, there's people in there.
Because Rand is there, and Rand is like, "Yeah, Sen Bui said that I shouldn't meddle in women's circle business," and Nynaeve is like,
no, Mistress Thane said you wanted to see me right away. Women's circle business, she said something about Sen Bui. And I was like,
before we move on,
nice.
I just want to address what Robert Parr is saying. Robert Parr says, that's such a terrible attitude. Why would you assume that Jordan is trying to be anything? He wasn't trying to be anything. He was writing the story that he wants to tell. Okay, but when you are writing a story, especially over the course of this many societies and this many, you are making a statement about what you believe about the world. And when you are writing your protagonists and how they behave and how they interact with the world, you are writing what you think is right.
Yeah.
And how you think things should be.
Art comes about for a reason. It doesn't just fall out of into your hand, right?
You cannot write a book that is pro-slavery and then claim that it's not what you believe. You just wanted to write about characters that were pro-slavery and have anyone buy into that. As the reader, we are going to walk away from the books with your view of the world.
And that's why we're hoping that by the end of the series, we have that, like, circle. Because right now we have the things that are happening and the people that are. And, right, if the domain being happy, being domain, is not a thing that's, like, resolved, it is a weird thing to write about. To be like, yeah, these slaves really like being slaves, but I'm not pro-slavery. Like that, those things don't jive together. Yeah. Like you need that resolution, and you need to say something about what you're writing about. Otherwise, why are you writing it? If you're not making a commentary, if you're not saying anything, then it doesn't matter. Then it's just words on a page, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot claim that you're not making a commentary on the real world, because you are.
Yeah, that's what art is.
You can't say that, like, Robert Jordan was writing about what, like, pre-industrialized world would have been like if it was a matriarchy, and then walk back Robert Jordan was writing about what he thought a pre-industrialized world would be without a matriarchy. Like, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
He is either making a statement or he isn't. And if he's not making a statement, then why are we reading this? What's the point of it?
And so that's why we're in a lot of ways we're excited to get the end, but we're not excited for it to end. But we're excited to get to the end to, like, really have that full circle. And unfortunately, Robert Jordan himself didn't get to finish the series, unfortunately. But at least in terms of storytelling, we will have that hopefully conclusion. I mean, I don't know. Brandon Sanderson seems like he knows what he's doing. But it has to be, like, there has to be a reason for it all. Otherwise, it doesn't matter.
Robert Power says, you were expecting the books to virtue signal, not everything will. Everything is a virtue signal. No. Like, yes, everything in life is a virtue signal. Yeah. How we behave. If you write a protagonist in any story, you are virtue signaling. Because this is how we tell the stories of the world.
Yeah, you put a protagonist out there who if you are setting someone up to be the protagonist, they have to be the person who you want people to like or to empathize with or to understand, right? Even if they make bad choices, even if they, even if they're fallible, because humans are, like, people put themselves into their art.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that. Otherwise, it's pointless. Otherwise, there's no soul to it. There's no reason for it.
And here's the thing, right? Like, I want to root for the protagonists of your story.
Yeah.
And if the protagonists of your story are doing things that I'm not going to root for, I'm not going to be interested. There's a reason why people have consistently written to us. I have so many DMs from people after the last couple weeks who have been DMing me like, this is where I fell off. This is where I stopped reading because of the things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I understand why. You don't want to get involved in this, right? And so I feel like you cannot write a story and put your vision of the world out in the world and not expect people to read it critically. We've been talking about this story in like 105 hours of book club at this point. We're gonna look at these things critically.
Yeah. Otherwise, there's no point in us talking about it. Otherwise, we are just telling you what happened, but you guys already know what happened. And so what's the point in us talking about it, right?
Emmanuel S. says, Rand is a protagonist. He's definitely not pro-slavery. He's definitely also not pro-monarchy aristocracy. That is true. We just don't spend enough time with him. It's hard because we don't get to talk about Rand as much as I want to in this podcast because he's just missing for so much of these books.
Yeah.
But he's not missing from this section. Rand is back. Let's move on. We've said it. I said I was going to be negative this week.
You said you weren't.
I said I wasn't going to be negative this week.
Oh, I thought you said was. I was
no,
like, that's
we're not.
what you said.
We're being positive.
Yeah, no, we're not at the end of the story yet, and we just have to acknowledge where we are at in these points in the story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Baka Karn, I have to respond to one last thing and then we're moving on. RJ is somewhat unique in that he writes a lot of characters to be realistic in the setting and not towards an ideal. That's why so many characters are so annoyingly flawed. Disagree. Robert Jordan writes a lot of characters to have the exact same flaws. And when a writer writes the exact same thing over and over and over and over again and then calls it realistic, it is that person saying that they think that that is realistic. And I'm saying that these characters are not realistic. These societies are not realistic. They are his idea of realistic, which says something about him as an author. And if you are not on board with us thinking about that critically, I don't know why you're listening to a podcast about these books. I don't know what, do you want us to just read them to you? Like,
that's what Audible's for.
Robert Jordan, the reason that we were talking about these societies is because they have the exact same flaws over and over and over again. And Robert Jordan saying, oh no, it's realistic for all of these societies to be built around violence is something that I fundamentally disagree with.
Yeah.
And like, that is my point of view, and that's why we talk about it in the book club that way.
We have different worldviews than Robert Jordan, and I think that that's what makes talking about these things interesting, right? Like, it's boring if we were just like, so this happened, cool, and then this happened, cool, right? Like, you can go listen to Audible if you just want the books, and like that's fine if that's what you're looking for. Like, I'm not gonna judge, right?
Yeah.
If that's what you're looking for, then all the power to you, but we're here with our podcast because we like to discuss and like go in depth and think critically and see what we can like excavate from these like absolute behemoths of novels.
Jalen Bennett, I'm not saying that Robert Jordan is pro-slavery at all.
No.
I'm saying that he has written a society in it that goes with the benevolent slave who enjoys slavery trope. And I said earlier, I want to get to the end of that before we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it's a problematic trope that I don't agree with. And if it ends in a way where like they have to work with the benevolent slavers, I'm going to have a problem with that. I'm not going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
it's different. All right, let's move on to the fun stuff because this next section is going to be really fun.
Yeah, it is.
So, Rand says the whole thing about Senbui and the Women's Circle, which is great. Nynaeve sends Mistress Harper out of the room, and Nynaeve is like, what? Who are you? And Lan is like all hard because he's never been harder than his current level of hardness.
Hard 24/7.
Lan is secretly a Pokemon who just constantly uses Harden. And so his defense is at +6.
Yeah, 100%.
He is staring at Rand as Rand drops the what is it? The mirrors.
The specific
mirror of
mists.
mists.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my god, it's Rand. And Lan and Rand have a brief before they
talk to Nynaeve, they have like a bro moment where he's like, I see you didn't take your advice. And I was like, wow, called out. Okay.
Yeah, but also they like ignore Nynaeve at first, which I was kind of like, all right, boys.
Yeah. They have a moment, and Nynaeve is like, "Excuse me, I'm right here." She's like, "What are you two going on about?" Then Rand's like, "You wouldn't understand, men's stuff."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they let him know that they know about Kyrian and the explosion thing that happened where the castle blew up. And they're like, "So is this why you're here? Like, what's going on?" Egwene can
Berserker
help you.
says Land puts his hand on his dick because his sword isn't hard enough.
Oh my god.
I love
Lan. It must be exhausting. He must have to consume so many calories to be hard all the time. You know?
To keep his blood pumping.
He's got to have a healthy appetite.
I think what's so fun about this is that Lan has this weird affection for Rand, but also knows that men go crazy with the one power. And so he doesn't know if Rand is safe. And so he's not willing to let his guard down around this boy who he trained. Right? Like there's a really interesting dynamic between the two of them where there's this affection, and I think there's genuinely love there. But at the same time, I also think that there's this fear in Lan, and it doesn't come across as fear, but it is a fear.
It is,
to think that Rand might have lost it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a really well written dynamic between the two, and I love the way they're looking at each other.
Yeah. And I love that Rand is like, "Okay, you can stop pretending to be Aes Sedai." And then he was like, "I want to fucking slap you silly."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, there's 2 Aes Sedai here." And I'm like, "Oh, Rand, you have absolutely no idea."
Yeah, what is... I'm confused by this.
By what?
So Rand... Are people not conveying information to Rand? Are the wise women hiding shit from him?
What?
Okay, so he's got the wise ones.
Yeah.
Who are regularly talking with the Saladar Aes Sedai.
Not anymore.
Yeah, they are.
No, the Aes Sedai and the Wise Ones hate each other.
What?
They stopped meeting each other a long time ago. They have not gone back. They do not get along. Remember? There's a whole fucking drama thing. They don't like each other.
But the wise ones know that Elaine and Nynaeve were raised. So why doesn't Rand... Are people purposely keeping things from Rand?
I don't know. Maybe that... If they knew, maybe that was an oversight. Because they were raised to Aes Sedai after
Egwene is still meeting with
Amyrlin.
Amys. Yeah, so Rand would have this information.
When does Egwene meet with Amys?
I don't know. I found Rand's Rand not knowing what's going on is surprising to me because it feels like he has people everywhere, and if they're not passing information along to him, that's not great.
Yeah, he doesn't know that Egwene is the Amyrlin seed, right?
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
How do you not know that? Everybody fucking knows that at this point. How does Aleida have more information than Rand does?
Yeah.
Rantamore.
Thank you for that super chat.
The pain of having to worry if your adopted son Squire Jesus could maybe go crazy. It's not my favorite pain.
Jesus.
It's not my favorite pain.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Rand is so caught up in his own shit and doesn't confide in other people, and so I'm assuming doesn't have regular meetings with advisors and stuff where people can let him know information. And so it makes sense that Rand has huge gaps in his knowledge because he's running around trying to do everything for himself and doesn't actually have a good grasp of what's going on, and that's what his problem has been.
It's just kind of weird to me just because it feels like it's been going on for so... It feels like Nynaeve and Elaine were raised so long ago.
For us, yes, it does feel
You know what I mean?
Yes.
For Rand to just be finding out now, I'm like, God, Egwene has been the Amyrlin seat for a book and a half.
Yeah.
How has no one told Rand this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I found it to be weird. I was like...
Here's the thing. It's been a book and a half, but it's been I don't know, 3 weeks.
Yeah, maybe.
The timeline in these books is a little bit strange because there's so much going on and so many pages that I actually don't know how long ago that was in terms of days.
Yeah, I think it's really, for me, just my brain is saying that it was so long ago that I'm like...
Yeah, it feels like it's been a long time, but I don't actually think. People are also saying that Egwene said to keep
her becoming the Emerald seat from Rand. Yes.
Yeah.
But she's been so public about it now across 2 countries. You know what I mean? It's not like Egwene has been like hiding.
Yeah.
You know what everyone kind of knows about Egwene. Like Cadsuane knows about Egwene. But Rand doesn't. But Cadsuane and Rand have met multiple times. It's like who knows what is getting so complicated.
It is definitely complicated, especially because I'm not 100% on the timeline.
And a part of the problem is we honestly spend so little time with Rand that it's weird, right? Because he is the protagonist.
Yeah.
But this is the first time he shows up in this book.
Yeah. And
outside of like a brief thing in the prologue.
Yeah.
And so we're getting like Rand kind of sporadically throughout the book rather than having him like lead the book.
And I think that that's why it is much more convoluted, because we have so many different characters and POVs that it is just harder to keep track of those things.
And the girls won't tell him that Matt's dead. I agree, chat.
Yeah.
Because Elaine has to get laid. That's more important.
That is more important.
So,
Yep.
Rand goes to Nynaeve and he's like, look, I have these 2 things. I need you to use the other one because we're going to cure the male half of the power. And so this is so cool. Like, this is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
You're wrong. Cadsuane is not involved. Fuck Cadsuane.
I still think she will be.
And so so he's like, Nynaeve, I need you. And Nynaeve is like, okay, cool. Let's do it now. And Rand is like, oh, no, I have to go kill these dudes first. And she's like, yeah, but I'm coming with you. And Rand is like, okay, sure. Sure. End of chapter.
Yeah.
I actually am happy about this, because the 2 strongest Sangreal thing has been a thing that I'm like, why isn't Rand using it? And now I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I'm excited that like we finally have like a reason for it. Yeah. We have like a direction for the book, which the book didn't really have a direction in my opinion. Now we have like what Winter's Heart is going to be about in the back half, and it is about curing the male half of the taint. Cool. Let's get into it. Do I think it's going to happen in this book? I don't. But they're gonna almost do it. Because I don't actually think they cure the male half of the taint.
You don't?
No, I think they fail.
We have been saying that for these books to get to book 14.
I know, but then Robert Jordan didn't write Rand getting crazier. He just writes Rand having like bouts.
What do you mean?
Robert Jordan has kept
it.
Yeah, sure. But he has kept how crazy Rand is so vague. Where like I think the craziest he's been was in like book 3.
Yeah, but you can't quantify how insane somebody is, right?
Oh, sure, but I'm saying that Robert Jordan could keep Rand in this like vague place of craziness through the end of the series.
I mean, he can't even channel without falling over.
Yeah, but I think that Nynaeve is going to cure that, but I don't think she's going to remove the taint from the male half of the power. I think they're going to use the Sangreals to heal his side, and they're going to heal Rand, but they're not going to heal the one power.
Really? I think that they will. I still believe that.
I just feel like then the Ashman become too dangerous. And the Ashman also become a lot less interesting because their one weakness is gone. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of take out the conflict.
Okay, maybe instead of curing the taint, they cure Rand, and they somehow, because these things are so powerful, Rand then has access to the true power.
Yeah.
So the taint isn't on it.
You think he's gonna get permission from the Dark One to use the true
power? No, I'm saying that it's cut off, right? They find a way to circumvent that, and he has like power that he can access that's not tainted.
You think they're going to like punch a hole in the Dark Hole's permission?
The Dark Hole's permission.
The Dark One's permission? That would be fucking cool.
I mean, yeah.
And then Rand starts to get saw in his eyes, and then he goes crazy even faster.
Well, I think it's like it's different in that sense, right?
It's not though. The true power is even more addictive and craze-inducing than the one power.
I thought it was more addictive, but I didn't think that Moradin was like insane.
Yeah, that's why he has the black stars in his eyes. The saws, right? The SAA.
Okay, so he's just crazy then?
Yeah, apparently the true power is more dangerous and addictive than the one power.
I knew it was way more addictive. I just think that there has to be some way for Rand to access power and make it to the end of this. do what
Eric
he
Wood
needs to
says
do.
he has auditory hallucinations, visual hallucinations, delusions, extremely labile mood. Yes, very vague, crazy. No, I'm saying that it's vague in that he is as crazy as he needs to be for the scenes that he's in. But when he needs to be sane and like very with it, he is.
Well, except when he uses Calendar, because that like amplifies the
No,
change.
but that's my point. In some scenes, Rand is like fully crazy, and then in some scenes, like what we're about to have with Elaine, he's fully with it.
But that's how that would work until you like broke, right? Until you cross the threshold.
Sure, I'm just saying that like they're like with what happened with what was the kid's name in the last book? Fedwin.
Yeah.
He like went crazy in like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that because of how like there's no like descent into madness with the craziness.
We don't know that. It's different for every single person, right?
That's my point. There's nothing consistent to go off of. So there's the crutch of Robert Jordan can just leave it vague.
Yeah.
And Rand can be as sane as he needs to be for the rest of the series.
Yeah.
And it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen there's no like stages of it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing to look out for because it just is random for everybody.
Yeah.
Mazrim Tame. What are you doing?
They can hear the fans. So
I mean, there's nothing we can do about that. Like,
well, I'll plug it back in when it like goes down, right? But that'll at least turn the fans down for now.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Travel setup. The laptop fans are going.
My point isn't that he's doing a bad job of it. Mm-hmm. I think that his writing of the like insanity has been doing well. I think that it is so vague though, where it can happen at any point.
Right, like the way it is being written right now, we could get to book 14 without it curing it, and Rand still accomplishes what he needs to do.
And Rand is still sane enough in the scenes where he needs to be sane, and then he's crazy in the scenes where he makes everyone worried about him. Mm-hmm. Like he could keep this going on forever because he started acting crazy in book 2, and he's just consistently acted crazy the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Rand has not been sane since the Eye of the World.
I don't know. I think that they're going to have to do something with the taint. I think that they can't go on like this.
Maybe. I think they're going to cure his side, though.
Surfers, welcome to the nerd table. Thank you.
Demandred's assessment of Moradin disagrees. That's fair. I agree. I know. The true power definitely makes you crazy. They've set that up. They've almost explicitly said that multiple times. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they use the things and Rand can access the female half of the source.
Narafin says Tame has been channeling for years without going noticeably mad.
Yeah, he's been able to hold off the madness because
what if he's not holding off the madness?
He's utterly insane.
No.
Oh, what if he's a dark friend who is protected from going mad by the dark one? Yeah.
Fuck. Guys, is Tame a dark friend?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't want him to be. Fuck. I know he's like an antagonist to Rand.
Sucks.
But like that would make the most sense, right? Because he's so old. Like how did he get there without like ever...
He's not that old.
He's like 60.
Is he?
Yeah, he's got gray in his hair.
I thought he was like Moraine's age. I thought he was like
40. So maybe he's 40, but still like... Fuck, oh my god, is Mazrim Taint protected from the taint by the Dark One?
Maybe.
How have we never thought about that? I've always just like taken it at face value. Okay, chapter 12. We definitely listened to this. Did a reaction.
Sorry guys.
No, we didn't. We fucked up. Sorry about that.
We fucked up.
So Elaine and Min, guys, I can't believe we're already at it's been 2.5 hours? We're fucked.
Yes.
I'm sorry, babe. This has been a long book club.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
Okay, Tame is like between 30 and 40.
Okay. So Elaine is walking with Min and Avienda. Fuck, I'm sorry.
What?
We've just talked a lot today.
Yeah.
There's been a lot to talk about. It's been a good section.
There was so much in this section, guys.
So Min and Avienda are like trying to figure each other out while they're walking, which I think was very cute.
They're like sussing each other out, but also like mirroring each other accidentally, which was great.
And they're trying to figure out how to mask a bond. Because they don't want Brigitte to know what they're about to do, which is very funny. So they arrive to Nynaeve's room, and Elaine tells her new bodyguards, who are dressed in these very garish red lion nonsense.
It could be cool.
It could be cool, but it's not.
It's a lot.
It's not inconspicuous.
No. It's definitely not.
And so they confront Rand, and Rand is like, Min. And Min is like, what did you think I was going to do? I don't listen to you, farm boy. I do what I want. I'm Min fucking...
I'm Min.
I can't remember her last
Just
name.
Min.
I'm Min.
Raised by my aunts.
And so they all start like telling Rand that they love them.
Well, no, I love the moment at first, like the very first like sus moment is Avienda's like, you lie to Rand, and Min is like, no, only when I have to.
And Avienda's like, good.
Oh, okay.
Good. We're on the same page.
Good.
We're on the same page.
Yeah, it's like, Farshaw, thank you.
So Nynaeve and Lan are like, what the fuck is going on? And then they're like, I love you. No, I love you, Rand. I love you. We all love you. And Nynaeve is standing there being like, the fuck is happening?
Nynaeve is like, the fuck? And then Rand is like, all right, well, I love you, and I also love you, and I also love you. And Nynaeve is like, excuse me, young man. How dare.
Nynaeve fully turns into a 65-year-old like grandma at this point.
Yeah.
She's like, no polyamory.
No.
Polyamory bad. Jess, thank you for that super chat.
Thank you for the super chat.
I have to leave just so you're getting to the best bit. Can't wait to listen to this and I'll catch up later. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Fair shot. Here. Yeah.
Farshaw. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so,
Yep.
Nynaeve is like trying to be upset, but like, what's she gonna do? They're adults.
Yeah.
And Elaine is like, there's one more thing that we need to discuss. And Avienda and Min are like, we shall go get to know each other.
Everybody leave. Get out.
Everybody out.
Honestly, the best part, I'm so glad that we had Nynaeve's perspective in this scene because it made it so much funnier.
Yeah. So,
well, no, okay, they bond Rand.
Sorry, they pushed Nynaeve and Lan out.
They pushed Nynaeve and Lan out, yes. So that they
it's
can
just the four of them.
Bond Rand. They're like, we want to bond you as Warder. And he's like, haha, Alana beat you there. And Elaine is like...
Samantha says, I changed your diapers. You get one wife only.
Yay.
That's very funny. And so, yeah, they are like, we want to bond you to the three of us. Mm-hmm. And Rand kind of chuckles. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, very funny, but Alana already did that. And Avienda's like got her knife out. She's like, who? I'm sorry, where is this woman?
What's her name? What's her description?
Alana's in for it. And not just because what happens here knocks her out.
I'm assuming that's what knocks her out, but... Unless it was
unless
her
it's just
having
the orgasms?
Sex. Yeah, unless it was...
Alana experiences orgasms through the bond for the first time, and it's too much for her. It's sensory overload.
One of those things definitely knocked her out.
So, yeah, they bond Rand. Y'all, this fucking was crazy.
Well, and
I loved it. I loved everything about this.
I love that they took inspiration from the First Sister ceremony, because Min can't channel, right? Min
Elaine can straight up just, like, invent new things.
Yeah.
Elaine is fucking
brain.
Magic.
Big fucking... I mean, yes, literally
She is
magic.
the most Wonder Girl of all Wonder Girls, where she, like, sees a weave and she's like, oh, I can use that to bond four people together.
Okay, my favorite part, though, is that when we were reading that section, she's like, oh, there's too many things going on for me to really pay attention to what they're doing. And somehow, she still paid attention enough to make up her own thing. But yeah, they're able to bond Min, even though she doesn't channel, which is very cool. And unfortunately, the, like, blocking napkin trick doesn't work for her. So, I'm sorry, Min. That's either a really fun thing for you or a really bad thing. And whichever one you decide, I support you.
But yeah, I thought that the way he wrote the ceremony was really cool, too, in that night. Elaine did the tying of the three girls together. And then she passed the bond. She passed the who's in the leader over to Avienda, which apparently the two of them have been practicing and are really good at, because it's really hard to do that.
Yeah.
And so I liked like the way that Robert Jordan wrote the whole ceremony. I thought was really beautiful and really like tied into something really interesting.
Yeah.
So he passes so they bond, and now they can all feel each other. And Rand is like, well, this is good because I'll always know that you're okay, even when I can't be around. And I was like, oh, Rand, you little romantic. Time for you to get laid. Because Min and Avienda are suddenly like, do you want to go, like, we should go do something.
We should get to know one another now that we're in each other's heads, right?
And Elaine is like, there's something they got to do that I haven't. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, Karafin brings up, they keep describing these veins of gold.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's some Dragon Reborn Karn bullshit.
I think it's love. I think they're feeling love in the bond. I think that this is why Greens marry their warders. I think that veins of gold is like a thing that you experience when you're bonded to someone who truly loves you.
Okay.
Talmain
right.
says he's the Karakarn. Thank you for that super chat. He's the Karakarn, strong as a threefold line. Yeah, because the three of them experience his pain for the first time.
Yeah, thank you for that super chat. Yeah, they're like, how are you not crying right now? Which is what Alana said. You know,
Yeah.
how does he survive in this much pain? And Avienda's like, he is strong like bull.
Which only turns her on more.
Yeah.
Avienda is wetter than the threefold land after figuring out how strong Rand is.
Everything is wetter than the threefold land. That's not. You know what? It's fine.
It was a funny joke. Thank you for ruining it.
You're welcome.
And so they fuck, and Min, Brigitte, Avienda hang out in the hallway.
Well, Brigitte
experiencing his orgasm.
Yeah, Brigitte comes storming along and is like, what happened?
What's happening?
What's going on here?
What is she doing?
Jesus Christ.
It's fucking wild. This was the horniest fucking bullshit, and I'm so sad we didn't listen to it because we would have been losing it.
I also love that, like, Avienda is so insistent that Brigitte does not do anything. Like, I will owe you all the toll in the world. I don't care, but you cannot shame Elaine like this.
No, you do not stop someone's first time.
No, that's so rude.
Yeah, no, Avienda
so
is such a fucking first sister here.
Yeah.
Letting her, like, feeling her first sister getting fucked, first of all. And, like, does she double feel it through both bonds?
I don't think...
Does she get, like, amplified orgasm?
No, okay, I think...
residue?
I think Avienda and Elaine have their bond, but I don't actually think they're bonded to Min in any way. I think it's just Min and Rand.
No, they can feel each other.
Oh.
All of them can feel each other, right, chat? Am I wrong about this?
So, if they all had sex all together...
Which I'm sure they do at some point.
The fucking, like... feelings.
It's like a feedback loop. Yeah.
Well, because we know that Elaine and Brigitte, they're like feedback.
It's like how Rings of Power described how the rings work. If you make it a circle, the power rebounds on itself and grows in strength.
If you make it a circle.
Even though your finger's in the way. Whatever, it does not matter.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the things that they are all going to do to one another.
Okay, so they're not bonded to each other. They only feel Rand. But so Min only feels Rand, but Avienda and Elaine feel each other and Rand.
Yes, because they
have
their sister.
So is Avienda getting it on both sides?
I don't know.
Is Avienda getting DP'd through the power?
No, it's a different.
I think
bond.
She is. I think Avienda's getting fully DP'd through the power. This is the DP we all needed. It's just Avienda in a hallway getting absolutely DP'd by Rand and Elaine through her mind.
Wow, and she's not even there for it.
It's the mental DP, you guys.
Wow.
Oh my god. I also love that they're like, let's go get drunk because it's the only way to deal with this.
Yeah, they're like, we need Usquai right now. Please give alcohol. And Brigitte's like, yeah, okay, fine. Let's go fucking get wasted. Wow. So Avienda gets like the best part of this deal. Well, I guess Elaine as well, because if Avienda's getting fucked by Rand, then she also feels that. But Min is like, oh shit, Elaine's gonna have twins.
Jeff Dennis says it's a mental spit roast.
Literally.
Yeah, so, oh god, we have to read this. Fuck, I actually, like...
Oh, you highlighted her...
Min wondered whether to tell her what she had seen while they were all together. Avienda would have Rand's babies too, 4 of them at once. Something was odd about that, though. The babies would be healthy, but still something odd, and people often did not like hearing about their futures, even when they wanted to.
Yeah, what do you think is gonna be odd about it?
And before that, she says about Elaine, she'll get with child from this, 2 of them, a boy and a girl, both healthy and strong.
Yeah.
So Rand is just fertile. He's going to be fucking like planting seeds and growing babies in the wetlands.
Is it Rand that's super fertile, or is it the women? Like, are they fraternal twins or are they identical twins?
What?
Because maybe it is Rand, but maybe it's Avienda and Elaine. Right? Because if you have 2 eggs, right? If you have 2 eggs, then you get fraternal twins. Identical twins is when there's just 1 egg, but it just splits in half in the process.
Okay, well, no. What? No.
What?
Okay, so Elaine can't have identical twins.
Oh, because it's a boy and a girl.
Yeah, so there will definitely be fraternal. But Rand is on getting both of them pregnant, so he has to be fertile.
Oh, yeah.
All 3 of them have to be fertile, but Rand getting 2 women pregnant right away, it's hard to do.
His swimmers work real hard. Right.
But the quadruplets could be identical.
Could be. That seems... Maybe that's what's weird about it. She's like, there's something weird about it. I don't know what.
Do you think there's a weird time jump between like this and the next book where it's been like 10 years and they have children? It would be weird in this series to suddenly have a time jump, right?
It would be very weird, yeah.
The seed is strong in him, yes.
Yeah.
So apparently Avienda's having quadruplets.
I'm so sorry, Avienda. I'm so sorry. That sounds horrible.
She's going to be the most pregnant person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw someone with triplets and their belly was bigger than I am.
Yeah. No, it's that's
the person I knew who had triplets, she could not walk for the last 2 months of her pregnancy.
Yeah.
Like she was so it was crazy.
I'm
because she was only like 5'1". It was wild.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So that happens. We wake up with Elaine. Rand is gone with a beautiful lily on her pillow, and she weaves it to last forever, which is very cute. But then she finds out that Olivia is also gone, and Nynaeve is gone, and Lan is gone.
Yep.
And so are a bunch of the Ongril and Tarangril and Sa-Ongrils. So they took a bunch of shit.
Yep.
And Elaine is like, well, Nynaeve leaves a note. She leaves a note, but it's not very comforting.
Yeah. Remember how we talked about people in the Wheel of Time don't communicate?
Oh, no, we skipped over. Min looks at Brigitte and was like, oh, you're Brigitte Silverbow. I see all of your past lives.
Right. She just knows. And Brigitte's like, yeah.
I love that. Min was like, I've never seen more auras around a person than Rand. And then she sees Brigitte and is like, oh my god.
Holy fuck, yeah.
Girl, you've been through some shit.
You've seen some shit. I'm so sorry.
So Winter's Heart, chapter 13. Cat Swain is knitting and meeting with people. And, like, she finds out some news. Because that's all Cat Swain does, is she knits and people talk to her.
Yeah.
Cat Swain has kidnapped people. And
won't give them back.
Torturing them because they're lesbians.
That's not why.
Sorry, is torturing them because they won't tell her that they're lesbians.
I don't think that that's actually the case. I think Varen is a dark friend and they're also dark friends and that Varen is protecting them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think the Pillow Friends thing is just a cover up.
I don't know. Rand found them, like, in a bedroom together.
Yeah. Where else would they be?
I don't know. I liked this storyline. I think I didn't like. I don't like that Cat Swain is just having people tortured, but like.
Yeah.
That's the world. That's just how people deal with all of their problems. So we just have to kind of deal with it. I also don't like that Cat Swain calls Rand the boy.
I know.
She's your favorite character. Defend her.
What do you mean?
Don't you love Cat Swain?
Yeah, she's gonna be super helpful.
When she fucking does something.
Yeah.
When is that? It's been books. It's been 3 books. And she sits in the castle.
3 books? No.
Yeah, we met Cat Swain 3 books ago.
That would have been book 5.
No, sorry, book 6. No, book 7. 7, 8, 9. We met her in 7, right? Cat Swain has done literally nothing since we met her.
That's why I said she's gonna be important.
So are the sea folk. So are a bunch of these people eventually.
Oh my god.
Everyone loves Kratos for calling Atreus boy, but for Cat Swain, it's suddenly not okay.
Okay, but that's because it's his literal son.
And Kratos calls him boy to show the audience that he's maybe not the best dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It becomes affectionate at the end of the game after you've seen the journey that they go on.
No spoilers. I haven't.
That's not a spoiler. That's you know. Mm-hmm. They their relationship develops over the course of the game, right?
Yeah.
But like they literally use boy because it's like it's a slightly derogatory.
Yeah.
Anyway, they just talk.
Varen is super sus.
I didn't think about the dark friend angle. I just thought they were lesbians.
Well, because we think that
they wanted to hide that they're lesbians because the sea folk lady would get cast out of her society for it.
She would?
Yeah, isn't that kind of what they set up? Is that because the sea folk are so strict that like she's lonely and misses her husband and she can't like. Oh,
it's not that she's a lesbian. It's that cheating on your spouse is like very very.
Sorry,
very
bad.
Yeah. I was like, I don't think that they care about if she's a lesbian, but yeah, they would care about her cheating. Yes. Yes.
So then Corell comes in and says that Dahmer, his name is Dahmer,
not Jeffrey,
but not Jeffrey. The Ashaman who can heal has unstilled Ergain.
Yeah.
and they don't tell us what her power level is because we wanted to know if a man healed a woman,
if her power level
would come back,
and we don't find out.
And I was like, fuck, no, tell me what her power level is.
Yeah.
Is it over 9,000?
Yeah.
Very frustrated with that. There's this couple in the hotel room across the way, and they keep looking at me, and it's very funny. They finally closed their blinds.
They just put their blinds down.
We can't put our blind down, though, because we need the light for the video.
Yeah.
But I've been, like, kind of... And they're both in robes, like, chilling, and, like, they stand at the window and look at me. We've been having a whole thing.
Sup?
This whole show.
Maybe they're watching book club.
Yeah, so that's wild. And they think that Dahmer managed to create this, even though we know that Nynaeve can do it, but... I really want to know if they can do it. I really appreciated them being like, we're going to have him heal the others. And Katswain is like, yeah, even if I hate them, I'm not going to leave a woman stilled.
Yeah, that's like the worst thing that you can do to these people. And
it's the only nice thing Katswain's done in 3 books. And then Jahar comes in. And at first I thought this said Jafar. And I was like, poor Arabian Nights.
You just mixed Poor Unfortunate Souls
and Arabian
Nights. That was impressive.
Arabian Nights! That's what it is.
Yeah. There it is.
Go. Fuck me. I'm such a weird, broken man. And tells us that Alana is out. She's fucking, like, fully unconscious.
Yeah, she passed out. The
and
orgasms
can't be
were
revived.
too strong. Yeah.
Here's the problem with all of them bonding Rand, is Alana can't pass her bond to anyone, because they're already bonded to him.
Maybe you can dissipate a bond?
Oh, maybe.
But we don't know that yet, so I really have no idea. So poor Alana fucked up so hard, and now has to deal with all of that.
And so they all go sit by her arms, or sit by her, sit by her bed. Yeah. And then we cut over to Demandred. Hell yeah. I love me some Demandred POV, you guys. This was awesome.
This was wild. So Moradin is the nipples, officially.
Moradin is officially the nipples.
And they know he's the nipples.
Yeah.
And Masana and Samaraj are not there. As usual, fucking slackers.
They're busy.
I know.
They're being boss babes in the White Tower. Sometimes you can't get away from the White Tower or else a lady will get suspicious. And so Moradin shows up and he kind of like dresses down the Forsaken. Demandred looks in his eyes and sees that he has a bunch of saws because he's the only one that can touch the true power now.
Yeah.
The Dark One has cut off all the rest of the Forsaken.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, only Moradin can draw from the true power now.
Oh, I didn't realize.
And so Demandred hasn't been channeling as much.
No, that seems weird because the Dark One has to grant permission for you to use the true source anytime. So it seems weird that he would cut them off from it when he
Not the true source, the true power.
The true power, sorry.
Those are different things.
Sorry, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he just didn't want them to use it, he would deny them permission. Why does he need to cut them off from it?
He does cut them off from it when he makes Moradin the nipples, his like reward is that he is now the user of the true power.
Oh, okay.
Right? And the others to demote everyone else to raise Moradin up.
Yeah.
They're cut off from the true power, even though they never use it because it makes you crazy faster and it's dangerous. It's super addictive, right?
Yeah. But yeah, they find out what Rand's plan is.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck they know this.
How do they know that Rand is going to cleanse the taint? Min? No, she's not.
There's no way. Yeah, this one was weird to me. I don't know how they figured this out.
That's interesting, yeah.
Unless maybe Rand talks in his sleep or something, and they've just got someone like hovering over him.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't think about how they found it out at all, but now I'm very curious about that. And so
it's got to be this Sindane person.
Moradin is like, you have to stop him no matter what. Go kill Rand al'Thor. And Demandred's like, okay, cool, let's fucking go. Like, saddle up, boys.
Yeah.
And
let's get rid of him.
Graendal sneaks a little worm into Demandred's head of like, why would the Dark One trust you after if he clears the taint? You have to stop him, or else the Dark One's never going to trust you again because you won't go crazy from you can use one power without his permission.
Yeah, I am trustworthy because I don't have to worry about the taint.
Yeah.
You know, but you guys, all the rest of you, Osengar, Arengar, Demandred, you guys, how does he know that he can trust you after that? And Demandred's like, fuck.
There's also some interesting information here in that we find out that Moradin, like Arengar and Osengar, has been brought back to life.
Yeah.
Which means that I think that he's Ishamael, but without the madness that had plagued Ishamael.
I don't think he is. I think like having it be somebody new is more interesting. Like I think the Dark One was like a Shamael.
Then why would they bring up that he dies? That he's been brought back to life if he's not someone that we've already met?
Because then we know it happens more often. I don't know. I don't think it's a Shamael.
I don't know. It has to be someone that died and is brought back.
Because I feel like Moradin has been around when... Like, Moradin was working in the shadows when Ishamael was doing his thing.
I don't think he was.
Well, there's no way he would have built up this network that he has, and with Sindane...
But if it's Ishamael's network, why would he need to?
But, like, Ishamael didn't use the true
Ishamael
power.
died and was gone... Like, a year passed before we met Moradin. He could have had time.
A year? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Shamael.
I don't know that it is a Shamael, but I think that it's someone that we've met before. I think the reveal of who is Moradin is going to come.
I don't know. We'll see. Because it seems like he's been around, like, setting his stuff up for a while, so...
Moradin is Jesus? I don't think he's Jesus, but... Yeah, it was just interesting that he's been brought back.
Yeah.
Ken turned to the dark side after Doomey's Wells.
No, Ken. No.
But yeah, it's
I also love that Demandred is super sus of Graendal because she's being just a touch too over dramatic.
Oh, we also got a name for the Sa'angreals that they're using, which are the Choden calls.
Yeah.
So Rand is going to use the Chode to cure the taint.
Wow. Okay.
Come on, that was fucking hilarious. I'd been waiting since the fucking plane to say that, and you had no reaction.
It took me a second. Like, I was like, did I...
I was so proud of Rand is going to use the Chode to cure the taint, and you were not on my level. So you did not yes-and me on this day.
I was not on your level. I really wasn't.
Why does it say it's still plugged in? It's not.
I don't know, but the fan is off, so that's what matters.
Oh, man. Oh, well, if Balefire prevents the Dark One from bringing someone back, then it's definitely not Ishamael.
Yeah.
Because Moraine Balefired him.
Yeah.
I don't know who it is. All right, so final chapter. It is the entire chapter of learning more about how fucked up the Sanchin are and why they suck.
Yep.
Actually,
one more thing. It is very interesting that they're like, you need to kill Rand, because that means that the taint can be healed.
Maybe?
Otherwise the Dark One wouldn't care. Because it would fuck up the world to his advantage.
They don't know if... I think that it's that the Dark One... Even the Dark One doesn't know if it can be healed, but I don't know if it's possible. I think the Dark One thinks it might be possible, but he doesn't know. Right?
Okay, maybe.
Because we've proven the Dark One doesn't know everything.
Yeah. Moraine Balefired Bilal.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So it is Ishamael.
I don't know.
I think it's Ishamael. I'm going with that. That's my prediction.
Okay.
And then Bilal's Balefired. So Bilal Ravin can't come back.
Yeah.
But Ishamael could.
Maybe Moradin is Lanfear.
And the Dark One said he isn't bringing Asmodean back. So it's not Asmodean.
No, they're like, fuck Asmodean. Could you imagine if Moradin was Asmodean? Oh my god.
All right, so Tuon is going through her morning ritual. Selusha is shaving her scalp. Selusha is her, like... We basically learn a lot about how, like, Selusha was, like, her guardian, raised her, and then at 16 she was supposed to send her on to someone else. But then Selusha took a demotion to stay with Tuon. It was very sweet. Everyone loved it. Yay, Sanchin. They go outside, and Tuon's feeling a little bit embarrassed today because apparently she punished a domain last night, like overdid it, because the domain was honest with her.
Yeah, she wanted to know her future,
right.
and so the domain told her, and so she got upset about it.
And then we go out and we find out that Tuan is particularly proud of the way that she trains domains, and
she's really good at training domain and horses.
Yay, we meet a slaver, and it's all about slavery and how like happy her domains are, and she's gonna like let the one that she punished have cake because she was mean to her last night, and the domain is like so grateful for it.
But like make her run so she doesn't get fat because God forbid
the weird sex slavery of the Sanchin. It's so guys, it's fucking weird. I don't know what you want me to say.
I also love
this whole chapter was so fucking weird, and then they're like, and this is the person Matt marries, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
No, Matt, don't do it.
Yeah. This is gonna be fun. I still don't understand what the veil means. Did you get that?
It's she feels ashamed.
But she's been wearing it for several weeks.
Oh. I don't get it then. I think she's trying to hide who she is, maybe?
I don't know.
But it's a see-through veil?
It's see-through. I'm confused. And it also, like, flutters around so you can see her face anyways.
But this was just the chapter where they do the, like... It's the, like, fantasy version of slavery. Where it's like, no, they like it. Like Dobby in Harry Potter. We're like, what are we doing? Like, guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And so this is the storyline that I most want to the conclusion of so that I can, like... evaluate what I think of it, because right now I don't like it, but I don't like it. I don't think I'm supposed to like it right now. Like, I'm not saying I don't like Robert Jordan's writing. I'm saying I don't like the storyline.
Yeah.
And so I'm hoping that this has a real purpose and goes somewhere, and isn't just for shock value, and isn't just to be gross.
Yeah.
Because if it's just for me to be uncomfortable, I don't really see the point of it. But
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfy about it, and obviously we're in the middle of it, so I can't like.
It was just a weird place to end the reading this week too.
Oh no, it was a great place because we're sitting here like, what the fuck? But I don't want to speculate on it too much because right now I feel very strange about it. The weirdest part to me though, is that we know that Matt likes big titty milfs. And we know that Tuan looks like she's 16 and has small titties. So how did they get together? What happens here?
I'm just really hoping I'm concerned that he is going to end up in this marriage against his will.
Yeah.
And that this is going to be a continuation of what was going on with Tylan.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what makes me the most nervous right now.
That's fair.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope that is not the case. I really, really do.
Yes, I'm nervous about this storyline, and stopping here did not help.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, apparently she's going to marry the corpse that is Matt Cawthon.
It's probably still a good-looking corpse, as long as it's been preserved.
That is our reading for the week. We did it. We're back in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Goddamn.
Philip says, I think you're misinterpreting how the domain are supposed to be happy. It's not portrayed as a good thing. I don't understand what you mean, Philip. They're portrayed as
being happy.
Like they're portrayed as
they're like wanting to be pet.
They don't. If you take the collars off, they want them to be put back on.
Yeah.
They're being portrayed that way. They're being trained as like, oh, they've been trained to appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping. Here's the thing.
And even the Aes Sedai that we've met that have been with the Sanchin long enough, eventually break. And like I don't know what you mean.
Here's the thing. I hope that Tuan is our character who is able to maybe see how things are fucked up. Like maybe Tuan is our in with the Sanchin. So that, like maybe her...
And maybe she's the one that changes it, right?
Yeah, maybe she's the one who realizes. Maybe she is the one who comes back with different information or is able to make a change in some way. But yeah, this makes me nervous.
Blue Light says, yeah, it's supposed to make you uncomfortable. It does.
Yeah,
I just hope there's
more... We're just acknowledging that.
My thing with the Sanchin right now is that they're like the D plot of this story, and so I hope that they become important and that it's not just like I really hope that there's a big reason why we're going through all this with them.
Yeah. We just don't want that storyline to be sidelined because we think it's really important, right? Like there's a lot here.
Guys, I'm not saying
Yeah.
they're not portrayed as brainwashed. I'm just saying that they're definitely brainwashed into being happy about it, but they're still being portrayed as being happy about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Both of those things can be true.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope there's a reason for it, because otherwise, why are we doing this?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I don't feel like we're being unfair to the situation. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. I think that stopping here, there's not really a, like, we can't have a full conversation about it, because right now this is like, oh, like, oh gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we get Matt in this book?
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like people are twisting what
to.
we're saying here, and that we're not saying that like they're like appreciative of it. We're saying that they're being portrayed as happy about the situation.
Yeah, we're saying it's like fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is fucked up.
Yeah, because
I don't understand why people are arguing with us.
Blue, thank you for those 5 gifted memberships.
So we're gonna do high low, and then we're gonna do our goodbyes, and then we're gonna quickly read the chapter for next week. The first
little bit of the reading for. Here's the thing, though, we can't. It won't be for next week. Next week is the full book recap for Path of Daggers. It's 2 weeks from now, guys.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry that is where we're leaving that off.
Yeah.
It hurts. It hurts me.
I'm just trying to figure out. Do you remember what the reading for next week, for 2 weeks from now, is?
Oh, the chapters. It is pinned in the Discord, which I can find so that we can.
Let's start with our high lows. You do your high low. I've got it.
You'll find it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna start with my high, which is actually really difficult this week, because there was a lot of little things that I really did like. What's like the best part of all of this good stuff?
That's tough. It was a really good reading.
It was. I'm gonna go like real specific, and I'm gonna say I loved that Nynaeve was present.
Okay.
When Elaine, Avienda, and Min all confronted Rand, because I thought that brought a little something extra to that scene that really elevated it. And so I appreciate that nice little touch from Robert Jordan. It was well done.
I'm going to do my low, her low, and then my high. We compliment sandwich this. So unfortunately, this is my low. I think it's pretty obvious, right? It's the sea folk scene. That was definitely like the lowest of the... that was the most... It took me out of it. There just wasn't anything there for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we skipped... we'll get to it. I'll have to bring it up at the end.
Okay, my low... my low is that I wish that Dielin's not sacrifice, but almost sacrifice had a little bit more impact in this section. I think it will matter later on. Right, like I think that there's...
See, I thought it was a great moment for Dialin.
No, it was a great moment for Dialin. I wish that
with all the shit that happened in this section, that's your low?
I'm saying that Nynaeve is like, oh, I think we can trust Dialin now. But we don't see what that means yet. I wanted more from that moment, because it was such a big moment for Elaine and for Dialin, that I feel like in this section, because there are so many other things going on with Rand showing up, there's a little bit glazed over. I was like, Dialin just like risked her life for you, and we didn't get to see
she's still
Elaine...
recovering. So like, I don't know what you wanted her to do while she was...
No, I want to see Elaine and Dialin have that moment together, and we didn't get it in this section, and so I'm sad about that. But I just don't know if we're gonna get that, because there was so much else
throw
after.
A flag on the play.
What do you
I don't
mean?
think you can make your low something that hasn't happened yet.
But I don't know if we're going to get it now, because everything else is happening.
I think it'll be, like, Dialin is, like, literally, like, recovering from being a badass. And you're like, I'm upset that the next day Dialin wasn't immediately back in the action.
No, I don't need her in the action. I'm sad that in this section we didn't get the re-meeting of those two characters. And I hope that we get it,
busy.
But... Yeah, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I'm sad that I missed out on it.
I think that, like, I just, as a low, I'm like, that's, your low of the section is, like, maybe the next chapter.
I mean, it could be. But
Right.
I don't know it yet.
I'm like lightly flagging the play on that one. I think that's a cop out.
we that feels
I think
like
there's
unresolved.
I think there's enough stuff that we complained about in this episode that we didn't love about this section of the reading, that for you to use your low to be like to comment on something that might happen.
Well, I
next week.
didn't like the sea folk section, but I don't want to just say the same thing that you did.
All right.
I'm not gonna pile on to that one because we already talked about it. Like, I also did not like that.
All right.
What?
We've done it in the past.
What?
Just had the same low.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought
I'm just saying that your low being like Dialen was stabbed and then the next day was like not around because she'd been stabbed is like
No, I'm sad.
like 12 hours passes. What do you expect her to do?
Yeah, and I'm just sad that we haven't gotten to see her and Elaine talk yet because their relationship is really interesting.
All right.
Whatever. Rance, thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sticking with us in this. I know this experience of publicly sharing this all itself can have its own highs and lows. Yes. We love y'all and value the dialogue. Thank you, Rance. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it means a lot.
So my high, it's so hard this week. The low was easy. The high is really tough because there's so many good ones. But I have to go with Lan. Lan's moment of like, no, you said that if you said that you're going to free them, you have to free them.
Yeah.
Because I think that there are very few ethics in the Wheel of Time, and when someone can have some ethics in the Wheel of Time, it is I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah.
So Lan's moment of heroic ethicism, I think it was very valuable to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it. Yeah. And he's my favorite character. So.
No, he's great, and he just keeps proving that time and time again. Like, fucking Lan is GOAT.
All right, that's the podcast. Thank you for joining us for a 3-hour and 7-minute Nerdy Wordy Book Club. God damn, we cannot shorten this.
Oopsie.
If you want to follow us around the internet, I'm at nerdynightly.
I'm at Claris Polaris.
This podcast is brought to you by Audible. Audible, go back to the beginning of the podcast. I'm not going to explain to you again how sound works because I probably got it wrong anyway, and I can't wait for all the audio engineers to leave comments about how I don't understand sound.
It's going to be great. I love that for us.
Audibletrial.com/nerdynightly is the link if you want a free audiobook on us and a free month of Audible. Thank you to Audible for sponsoring this podcast week in and week out. Like the video, smash the like button, subscribe, do all the things. No smut corner this week because fuck, everything was sex.
Literally, yeah, this was the spiciest reading we've had.
Yeah.
And it was great. I loved
Consensual sex on the good guy's side, whatever's going on with Fallon, like what it was a whole week of sex. So instead, to end the podcast,
no smut corner. We're gonna read the first little bit of the next section.
Next week, full book recap for Path of Daggers. Week after that, chapters 15 through 25 of Winter's Heart.
Yeah. And before I get into this, like the video.
Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
Like the video now. Clarus, will you please read for us the first chapter number?
All right. So
name of the chapter and then the first bit.
Chapter 15. Oh, I already know who this is going to be because of the picture spoiled it for me. In need of a bell founder. The box-like wagon reminded Matt of tinker wagons he had seen. A little house on wheels, though this one, filled with cabinets and workbenches built into the walls, was not made for a dwelling.
What?
He's in a wagon.
A wagon of cabinets?
Yes.
Is he in a peddler's wagon? Does Paddon Fane have him?
No, Paddon Fane's not a peddler anymore, and he recognizes Paddon Fane. He knows who that is.
But he doesn't know where he is.
Yeah, but he knows that he's evil. The dagger.
But Paddon Fane could be sitting on the front of the wagon. He doesn't know who put him in the wagon yet.
Oh, you think he's a prisoner?
He might be in Paddon Fane's wagon. Oh no, wait! Didn't they take Paddon Fane's wagon from him?
Yeah, he doesn't have a peddler's wagon anymore.
Well, we'll do the reading. We'll see you in 2 weeks for that. See you next week in a